right. You're going to go without?
Yeah, I'll get a shot.
Okay.
Are we live?
Well, I mean, we are whenever we say we are. So, yeah. Badass Records, episode 6. And I don't remember why exactly, but going back to 1985, Miss Jack's Somerset School, I remember somebody in the whatever crowd we used to roll with used to say, Matthew T. Graunke. Do you remember that?
Matthew T. Graunke.
I mean, I know it's E. It's E, right? Matthew, you're Meg. Matthew Edward.
Yeah. I don't remember the T,
No?
but like in 5th grade.
Yeah. But you don't remember the Jamming on the One Club either. The Takeo Keller stuff. You'd be like, jamming on the one. So I was trying to think earlier about the Jax Tracy split and who hung with who.
I don't think I have the 5th grade yearbook.
No?
For some reason I have like kindergarten 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think 5th.
Okay. Not
5th. Yeah.
My kids have like one apiece, and they're 5th grade and 2nd grade. It's like totally have dropped the ball. I mean, I wish we would have been ordering 2 for every year so they could have them. But you're next to Asher Gelbart in his awesome vest and his mullet. And then we had Takeo and Lishka. And I mean, I don't know that we like necessarily kind of hung with Asher. But
I used to go over to his house.
Yeah.
Like in the early years.
Yeah.
Mm.
But then Utrecht and Haro and Chris Holt and Schofield.
I think I remember, gosh. Wow. Look at you.
Yeah, I had a pretty awesome sleeveless shirt. Thanks, Mom.
I remember Scott Gabriel. I used to go over to his house.
Yeah?
I threw up in his house.
Nice.
Because we were eating, it was like raw vegetables, and this is the first time I tried like raw onions and dipping it in stuff.
Oh, my.
And of course, I threw up in his house and I had to go home.
Is Jeremy Birch on that page? Miss Jax?
Jeremy Birch. He's on.
Is he in Mr. Tracy?
Wait, where is he? Oh, yeah, he's in Jax, yeah.
I remember his dad was a mechanic, and my mom, like, had him do some work on her car, and then it was, like, worse or not fixed or something, and so they went back to look at it, and he had, like, supposedly put a golf tee in this hole in the engine. It was like,
what?
Yeah. I don't think that's the only thing he did, but...
Actually, like, speaking of doing floors with my friend, like, I actually did Jeremy Birch's parents' house.
They're still alive and around?
This is probably about 5 years ago.
They lived, I feel like
Village.
You could see their house from the corner of the playground or the soccer field or something at Somerset. Like they were close. They were by you guys.
Yeah, I think they're up on the hill.
Okay.
And one of those little, right, I live over there. We used to live off of like Blender and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny because I walked in there. I was like, I know you guys from somewhere. And then he started like saying something, and I saw a picture, and I was like, oh, you're Jeremy Birch's parents. And he's like, oh, yeah.
Wow.
And he actually told him that I was working on his floor, and Jeremy's like, hey, yeah, tell him I said hi. And stuff.
Funny.
And yeah, it was awesome.
This was like 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
I guess, yeah, I think he's got kids and married. And
sure.
just like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Except for me. There's Julie Still.
Uh-huh. Collins.
Who wrote on Mrs. Jax's face?
Oh, no. I think it was like Takeo or Schofield or...
Oh. Well, I'm looking at the wrong one. I didn't see Mr. Tracy's class.
Yeah, you remember his I remember 2 science, because he would come to our room to do like science. And I remember 2 sayings that were like famous of his. Do you remember what they were?
I know it sounds familiar.
He would say I think it's an organism, like a microcosmic organism called the trilobite. And he always used to say, our little friends, the trilobite. And then when he would talk about space and distance, he would say, further and further away.
Further and further. Oh, yeah. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I think that was the first year we switched classes. Like, we were getting ready to get ready for middle school when we changed classes or whatever.
So, my mom's second marriage ended the spring of '85, and we were in Atlanta, and she asked us what we wanted to do. And I remember we were sitting on, this couch was the living room couch for the house that they bought, and we moved into in 1982. I mean, it's been at your house. I mean, it's been around. It's still got broken. I mean, there's a cinder block for one of the back legs because it broke from a party, and
still looks good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I cleaned it pretty good when the basement was redone, but so we came back and we had no place to live, so we lived with a friend of my mom's for a little bit, and then we moved. I don't know why, but we had to move to a different friend of my mom's, and then we moved in with my Aunt Susie over on Windsor and
Somerset.
Was it Somerset?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was
on the corner.
Yeah.
I remember that.
But that was I wanted to look at Mr. Jackson's class. Cynthia Archer, Jamie Brennan, R.I.P. Right?
Yeah,
like a long time ago.
Yeah, I think it was like middle school, maybe.
And like a minivan, their minivan rolled or something.
For some reason, I'm thinking some car ran off a bridge and landed on top of them, but that could be exaggeration.
Or somewhere in the middle of our two. Ricky Graff, Jason Kane, Jay Casson, Amy Lingenfelter, Robert Leishman. Whatever happened to him? He must have moved.
I saw him on Facebook not too long ago.
Oh, really? Canyon Lou.
Yeah.
Puget. I see Roger the Plumber vans around. I'm like... Bill Steenbergen, Joe Walker, Nate Walton. My God.
I was thinking, was Mindy Cartwright still in there?
I mean, I know that name, but
I think she came around like 5th grade, maybe.
Oh yeah, right in between Terry Browning and Rachel Dennis.
Yeah, she was my first girlfriend.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay. And then was she around for 6th grade, 7th grade?
Yeah, I think so. But
did she make it all the way to East?
I believe so.
Okay.
I don't really remember, but I remember in grade school, people were like, she had a list of guys that wanted to be her boyfriend or whatever, and somehow I made the list, and we got to hold hands on a field trip and all that, and then she broke up with me for Nate Wall, I think it was.
Thanks, Nate.
Yeah.
I mean, my first girlfriend was then too, Rebecca Munchnick.
Oh yeah.
And then I don't remember. I mean, we were like boyfriend and girlfriend like almost the whole school year, and then one of us did. I don't know. I feel like I probably did something that upset her, and she broke up with me. And then I started dating Andrea Buss.
Oh yeah.
Like right near the end of the school year, and then her folks had like a pool party, and there was like, I don't know, 10 or 12 of us, and I mean, she kept swimming up and kissing me and sticking her tongue in my mouth. And I was like, this is sloppy and awkward. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this.
Maybe that was Rebecca Braverman's pool party. Remember that one?
Maybe.
Like everybody was kissing each other, and the parents came out and were like, stop it. You're going to go home.
Maybe it was that one. Probably because of how aggressive Andrea Buss's tongue was.
No, it's funny because I always remember just weird stuff. Like, I remember where Rebecca Braverman used to live for the pool party.
Okay.
Like off Lee Boulevard and right by the old Atchides.
Yeah. Didn't Lishka sack there for a while?
Who?
You remember Lishka, right?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't he sack groceries there for a minute at one point since he was right across the street?
I think so.
Okay.
I did.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was where everybody went to sack before Hen House?
Yeah. It was Atchides and it called Broadmoor.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember the guy's name, but yeah, it was an easy job.
Yeah, I mean, not to get ahead of ourselves, but do you have a concrete number in your head of how many of us were sackers at Hen House? It's like 8, 9, I don't know.
Well, even like my friend Ryan was a sacker there.
Which one? Oh, for real? The wood floors, Halloween, Florida, Disney?
I was like, what?
Wow. Frank Bardwell, Lee Snavely, Greg Frost.
God, such employee.
Pam. Remember Pam? She was like the one you could go to. Be like, hey, Pam. She'd be like, I don't know what the fuck ever. Like, that's all right. But then if Frank, oh man,
he was scary.
No such, yeah. Greg Frost was very intimidating too. Like, just super busy and moving 1,000,000 miles an hour, always dressed to the nines with his glasses and.
Yeah,
I mean,
I made a lot of money at that job though. Like, I had my first savings account. And,
yeah. I mean, such an awkward thing to like. Even at, I mean, not that we were that young anymore, but I mean, it was pretty common knowledge for us, and so it had to be for the customers, adults too, that like not like any other grocery stores in the area had sackers that would take it out for you, and it kind of expect a tip. And obviously not everybody would tip, curse those pushing your two-wheeler back, motherfucker. But pretty wild. Like,
well, because the only grocery stores that were around were I can't remember, like
is there a Safeway in the village?
I think so. Maybe like Dolls over there off like 91st and Metcalf, and then because there used to be, I remember where the hen house is. It used to be across the street in the shopping center. Was like that's where fake Bardwell started.
Oh,
I believe. I can barely remember.
Probably another like Balls store.
Yeah, it was like a really, I don't know, just a weird store. And I think, yeah, when Hen House opened, that was the shit. That was
man. I mean, how long has Hy-Vee been around?
Not very long.
Did they exist? Remember when the Chiefs and Price Chopper first partnered, and Chiefs and Chopper? I mean, Hy-Vee was around then. They were brand new, right? Or not yet?
Yeah, I remember Schnucks.
Yeah, yeah. Sean Tillery worked at Schnucks.
Yeah.
The Bad Wab. Remember that car?
Yeah. I saw his brother the other day at Hy-Vee.
Yeah, God, he's still there?
Yeah.
Fuck. Was there already, that Price Chopper at like 75th and not quite Metcalf on the where Roth Jewelry? Was that around when No.
No. I remember, like, I remember a hen house being where that Big Lots is off of like Warnell and.
Oh wow, yeah. Back in the days when the Piggly Wiggly was around, on Troost,
it was like a
wood
floor.
We could sometimes get Piggly Wiggly beer without even a fake head. They're just like, whatever, man.
Just get out.
Yeah,
appreciate your business,
man. That's like almost a monopoly in the grocery market for that time in that area. But
yeah, and it's pretty amazing, like just how I don't know how to explain it, like, like 119th Street was to cornfields back in high school. I mean, everything's just grown since.
Wasn't 103rd in Mission?
Pretty much.
I mean, Mission wasn't through like that far.
Yeah, that's true.
And there used to be like stables out there. What were those called?
Oh gosh,
it's not Saddle and Sirloin because that's still around, but it's off of Holmes. It was something.
There's Suburban Lawn and Garden was out there, but that was like the only thing that was out there.
No, I thought there was like like a well-known like huge plot of land that had horses and stables. I don't know why, but
it might have been. I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, anyway, 85, man. Mrs. Jax was so old and just like. Louis C.K. has a bit about what it must be like to be the hot girl at the bar. Just 3 lines, like the bra, the skirt, and the boots. And what do you do? I don't know. People want to fuck me. I go over here. They want to fuck me over here. And she was just like, her hair was always the same. Her glasses, I feel like her dresses were always like starchy and pressed, and just like, old lady shoes and pantyhose and some weird mouth things going on. It's just like, why are you not retired? I mean,
I think she was a smoker too. Like,
I think so, yeah.
Because I remember one time there was like Mr. Plumber's room was the very back, and then like there's everybody, the 6th grade was in the back, whatever, and there was like some kind of like storeroom over here, and then you go out to recess out that back door, and for some reason we accidentally opened the door to the storeroom, and they're just in there huffing down cigarettes, and you're like, oh shit, and then I just start putting out like, get out. And
I'm sure she had the skinny long old lady cigarettes.
Yeah.
I feel like she was always so, like I said, proper and everything. Like there are plenty of times where she would have like that line of lipstick across her teeth, you know, just like, you want so much trouble, and it looks like that like 7 times a day. But I remember, I don't know what happened, but conferences or I don't know, I got in trouble, but she ended up having a conversation with my mom and used the like she was listing a thing or two, I don't know. And whatever, it didn't end up being that big of a deal, but I think my mom talked to a couple other moms or something, and some of the other moms had this notion that like she had been a good teacher at one point, but that here in recent years she had gone to pot.
Really?
And I was like, what is, you know, because in that, like, I barely knew that drugs existed and hardly knew that pot was like lingo for marijuana, but the saying doesn't, it just means garbage or trash or whatever. And I was like, Mrs. Jax does drugs? That doesn't add up at all. Not that I knew it, but very bizarre. But man, speaking of pot, I said on another episode, like, the basement of my aunt's house was just full. It had like one room in the back that was really full of our shit and boxes that spilled out, and there were more boxes, and then there was like a room that had like a workbench and like a desk and a chair and a radio, and my aunt's husband was a mechanic, and he was just the oddest dude ever. I mean, like, bushy black beard, glasses, long fingernails that were always greasy and gross, and had the mechanic outfit on all the time. And I walked in there one day and he was rolling a joint, and he was, "This is something you're not supposed to see." I'm like, "What are you talking?" He's like, "This is marijuana." And I was like, and I panicked and ran. But there was I guess the south side of the backyard had a big nice fence. I mean, the backyard there was nice, like we could play football. There was a fence that ran along it, and then there was like a really thick set of bushes along the east side.
I can remember that. And
then the fence was behind the bushes, but the bushes were like really thick, and like we used to go back there and fuck around. And I don't remember who I was with, but I found a
porn mag.
A centerfold, either a centerfold or yeah. And it was like, what, you know, kind of chasing a baseball or hiding or something. See this? What is that? It's like clearly a thing that doesn't belong in nature, and just, you know, a couple of branches to the face, and cut on your neck, and t-shirt gets snagged, and you're like, oh, it's like paper. Oh, it's like glossy, like print, and then it's like, oh my God, it's a triple fold out pose of a naked lady showing bush and everything.
I remember that.
Yeah, I held on to that for a long time, and then my dad and his wife bought a place out at, like, not Lake Quivira, but I mean, it like the backyard butted up against the park course for JUCO. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you probably came over for a sleepover in the treehouse or something, but my room over there had a closet, and the closet had a crawl space that went out over the garage. And I smuggled that centerfold, who knows, you know, long after finding it, to there. And then once I had it there, I was like, every place in here is either only a good hiding spot temporarily, but sure to be found once I leave and go back to my mom's. So I went out there, and I'd learned, like, if you walk on the plywood, you know, you'll go through the floor and land in the garage. And so I walked a couple paces out on the joists, and, like, you know, the pitched roof, and turned, and like there was a, you know, a piece of wood in between two roof joists, and I slid it down in there, and I would visit it from time to time. And one time my dad's buddies' boys were over. They were over often, and we were having a sleepover in the treehouse, and I took him up there and showed him. And I mean, it wasn't like long before we were back into the closet, back into the room, kind of making our way back downstairs and outside to where everybody else was, that his dad was like approaching me. He's like, "I need to talk to you." And he had gone like directly to his dad and was like, "Dad," and told on me. And I was like,
"You bastard.
Do you have any idea of what I've gone through to keep that centerfold? It was in the bushes for who knows how long. Like, and I found it dry and like hard. It had just a couple little dew spots on it. Fuck. Luckily, my dad, he had a subscription to Playboy at the time. The current issues was always on the back of the toilet but I never really got to go. Like, if I even, like, was in their room, they'd be like, what are you doing in here? Get it, like, fuck, there's naked ladies in there.
Yeah, that reminds me, like, I don't know if you remember my neighbor across the street named Wade.
Wade Laird. I was just going to bring him up.
Yep.
I remember sitting on one of those big green electrical boxes with him and you, and we were playing a game or something.
Yeah, I think it was in the backyard, but yeah, he introduced me to a lot of stupid shit. Like like his dad was collected penthouses, I guess, all the time. So we'd always go in his office, like his just smoky office. And back in the 80s, everything was wood panel, so it was like dark and just smelled like cigarettes and
aftershave.
Yeah. And we go in there and just look at his penthouses, and we have to put them right back in the same spot, like, and all that. But yeah, that's probably my first introduction to.
What else did he introduce you to?
Oh, man. He used to, like, so you get back behind his house used to be this wood fence, and there was kind of like a trail. Like, there's a wood fence here, and so there was a trail, and the other neighbor to the east had just bushes, and we'd hang out in the back behind the bushes.
Yeah.
And they had, like, so we would, there's all kinds of stories, but, like, one night because we were skateboarders, and he had some extra wheels, those heavy plastic rubber wheels.
Yeah.
And he just chucked it at the house behind, and something just, like, crashed.
Oh my God.
He's like, let's get out of here. And then even one night we did, used to be a cop that lived down the street. And one night we set up, like, one of the dark spots in the street where it was with the trees. And so we set up, like, a bunch of leaves or branches across the street and put some metal pipes in the middle.
Holy shit.
And of course, the freaking cop that lives there just drove right through and smashed it. And then we went running, and you could see him coming back with a spotlight looking for us. And
where the fuck did you find metal pipes?
I don't know.
Right?
It was the 80s.
Yeah, for sure.
Probably in our backyard with all the crap that we collected.
Man, I remember, like I said, sitting, like, playing a game, tag or something, and it was clear, like, I came over to hang out with you, and it was clear that you knew him because whatever. But I just remember feeling like this dude seems a little bit aggressive.
Yeah.
Like, I can't put a finger on it, but I didn't leave, but I was just like, this. What was his, like, parents and sibling situation? Do you remember?
He's an only child.
Okay.
I mean, that pretty much explains it.
Exactly.
I remember his dad. His dad was just his name was Win Laird, and then Shelly. I think it was Shelly, something like that. And his mom. I don't really remember, but yeah, he's an only child, and they were just, I don't know. I don't know how to describe them. They're just kind of like
different.
Yeah. Just, I don't know. Not Johnson County as it is today.
Right.
Like a white trash Johnson County.
Yeah. They slid in undetected somehow.
Yeah.
Like, what? We've been here. It's fine.
Yeah.
So was your mom still has the place, right? She still owns it?
Mm-hmm.
It's 76th?
78th.
78th.
Yep.
And was that like your, like, forever childhood home? Was there a place before it?
I believe when I was a baby, I don't remember, they lived in a duplex in Olathe, I believe.
Oh, Olathe back then.
Yeah. I believe there's some footage of us on, like, a back patio or something, me and Carrie.
Okay.
But and then, yeah, pretty much moved there.
Right.
Till I was 18 or whatever.
Yeah. But where did your folks grow up?
My mom grew up around, like, here, Kansas City, but, like, 55th and Woodland.
Okay.
My dad grew up in Nevada. And
the state?
Like Carson City.
Okay.
And I think they met at a religious school down in Texas or something.
Whoa.
I don't really remember. And then obviously met, and I think they dropped out of school and then got married and moved
Like
up here.
high school or college?
I think I know they had me when they were like 25.
Oh, okay. Was it school in Texas?
Probably. I mean, obviously they didn't graduate, but like, so I think they like got married and then came up here to get closer to my mom's parents. I guess.
Sure.
I guess.
Was that was your mom's mom the beloved grandma with you had pictures of and the furniture?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't really know my dad's side of the family. Still don't.
No, were they, I mean, after he met your mom, were they just still in Nevada or?
Yeah, and like his mom didn't like my mom.
Oh.
And I barely remember her. I think she came and visited us maybe once a year.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Would you guys ever like pile in the car and go out there?
Mm-mm.
No?
Yeah, we never went anywhere.
No road trip, family vacations to speak of?
That's why I'm still here.
Yeah. So Carrie, Matt, Adam, Laura, Kamal. Kamal. You guys have, okay.
Kamal.
Nice. Very nice. And they're in California. So you guys are in California, Kansas City. I always get Adam messed up and want to say Ohio.
He's in Iowa, but I think they're getting ready to move to Oklahoma.
Oh.
Which is going to be awesome.
Near Laura?
Mm-hmm. Hopefully.
Is there a job opportunity or they just want to do that or?
Yeah, I think there are opportunities right now. And I think, job opportunity.
What do Adam and Heidi, what do they do?
Adam was a minister.
Yeah.
He helped build this church up in
that's right.
Iowa, Martell, I believe it was called. Martell, Iowa, little small town. Casey's one stoplight, kind of town.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he left there, and now he's just kind of like working for Target and just trying to work a couple jobs. And I think last time I heard they're gonna maybe move down to Oklahoma.
Okay,
or they want to.
And Heidi is just at home, or
yeah.
And they have 2 boys.
2 boys and a girl.
2 boys and a girl. Okay, so you're 9 times an uncle.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
No, if you count Hayden, it's 10.
10, right? Yeah.
I always count her.
I didn't mean to leave her out. It was just,
I know. Bloodline. Yes.
So when you if you guys are all together for a function or a visit, or what, is it always in Oklahoma these days?
Pretty much, yeah.
And everybody stays at the same place?
Mm-hmm.
How? I mean, who's...
It's kind of crazy. You have to time out your bathroom breaks, and you got to, like me, us, we're 47 years old, and you obviously get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom.
Well, yeah.
And then, showers. Yeah, I mean, she's got let's see, 4 bedroom.
Okay.
2 bath.
2 bath, that's better than 1.
I usually get Nat's bed, which is like a top part of a bunk bed, kind of single bed, and it's like if I sit up, I hit my head on the ceiling, but
it's better than the floor.
Yep, it's better than an air mattress on the
oh man, yeah,
living room that deflates over the night. And
somebody's on that usually.
Sometimes now that the kids are older, like all the teenagers are out in the living room because they have fun, stay up till 4 a.m.
Oh my god, yeah.
So yeah, I used to sleep in the living room, and then I wake up to kids just staring at me, waking up because they're little.
Yeah, it's like just a hairline of sunlight coming across. They're like,
yeah, or they'd be out there just like on their phone, like playing a game, just really loud, and 7:30 in the morning.
Oh man! And do all 4 of you have cats?
Yep.
So how many does Laura have?
Laura's got 2.
Okay.
Spencer and Gus. Carrie's just had one of hers pass away.
Okay.
Leo, this big fat orange guy.
A big fat orange cat in the Graunke family.
Yeah,
who would have thought?
Weird. So they just adopted 2 brothers from the place out there, so now they're gonna have 3.
Oh my.
Adam's got 3. My dad has 1, and I have 2. So what is that? 2.
I mean, just as many nieces and nephews as cats, I think.
6. That's 9.
Yeah, exactly. But nobody travels with their cats when they come to Oklahoma.
I wish they did.
You wish there were 9 kids and 9 cats.
And Laura has a dog, Jules.
Okay, all right.
But no, like when we FaceTime back, especially back in when we had the shutdown or whatever,
mm-hmm.
we'd all let our cats see their cousins.
Cat update, yeah.
And it'd be just cat faces on them.
Wow.
It was awesome.
I can't show you my cat face right now because I'm trying to send a cat meme on Facebook.
Oh, yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah. So, man, I mean, wild year for like most Kansas Cityans, but I mean, for me, it was like, again, moving to a new place and like being the new person and trying to fit in and blah, blah, and like staying with multiple sets of my mom's friends and then finally staying with my aunt. And then it's like the Royals win the World Series.
That's right.
And then a handful of months later, we're literally watching on the old school AV 3-level cart television space shuttle Challenger.
Remember that?
We watched it blow up live.
Yeah.
I mean,
because the school teacher is going up, so every
McAuliffe.
school in America is watching it at the same time.
Yeah. And then, first girlfriends, first porn find. It's like so much. I mean, and then like, there was a lot of days when if it was nice out, we would spill to was it Somerset Park down the street? Or did it start with an A?
It used to be, it's something weird right now, but it used to be, you're talking about the one right off Somerset?
Yeah, just like
Diagonal,
right down. Yeah.
What was it? It's not Franklin's the other one.
I want to say like Austin or Avila or something.
Now it's like something with a T, like somebody's name, like a weird.
Okay.
But no, yeah.
But I mean, I
know everything about. I used to know everything about that park.
Yeah, I mean, just in the brief window of time that I played there, like I remember, Chris Holt, like infamously to Tiffany and I, like would curl up and stretch out at the same time with his hands behind his head at the bottom of the slide and say, "What a nice place to rest." As he was just blocking kids from being able to slide. And then I remember Asher and Hero getting in a fight.
I'm sure.
And I mean, like, there was a Looney Tunes style chase around a big tree. And I'm pretty sure Hero was chasing Asher, and Asher just stopped and turned around and crushed him in the face.
I don't remember that. But.
And then once, he didn't UFC get, as soon as it was clear that Hero was no longer going to pursue, Asher started to make his way home. And then Hero followed, and Asher, I think maybe knocked him down again, but and then he just kept going, It's like, I don't want any of this, but if you're going to make me fight you, I'll punch you in the fucking mouth, Then I feel like I feel like Ricky was getting in fights a lot, and then he would be friends with whoever he fought a few days later. I mean,
yeah, he is.
Schofield was kind of a bruiser. I remember Takeo getting in a fight maybe with Schofield, and Takeo had those big glasses, and I don't think he could really hold his own. I remember him being upset, but it was like, why the fuck is everybody, for me, the new kid, I'm like, why is everybody there's so much animosity built up in all these different little one-on-one dynamics that it's, spilling into fisticuffs at the park after school.
Yeah. And
it got to a point where I was because we would walk or ride our bikes back to my Aunt Susie's or whatever, and it was like, man, I don't want to walk home. Who's going to pick a fight with me next? Crazy. Did you get into fights?
Oh yeah. Just you talking about it. I remember, you remember there was that basketball court at the front of the park, and then there was one way in the back by Utrecht's old house.
Yeah.
Dan Lawrence's, whatever.
Yeah. David Lawrence.
Yeah. So, excuse me. I don't remember what the circumstances, but I think I know my sister Carrie was with me, and we were playing basketball back there, and somehow Hero and Puget and Utrecht and Schofield and somebody else showed up, and we started playing basketball, and it started getting really aggressive because I don't know, for some reason they freaking hated me for some reason. I don't know.
Before 5th grade?
Oh yeah.
Is this story you're telling like 3rd, 4th, or something like that?
This is because I don't think Utrecht came around till like 5th.
I feel like he and I were new that same
4th
year.
4th or 5th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it must have been like either 5th or 6th because I remember. Yeah, we were just playing basketball and it got really aggressive, and my sister's a badass, so I remember somebody had me. I remember being on the ground and somebody was on top of me, and I remember my sister just coming in with a knee right to somebody's. I think it was Utrecht, and just a knee right into somebody's ribs, right on that basketball court back
carry.
There. Yeah, and that pretty much ended it. And it was like everybody, ran off crying or whatever.
She's always had like, if you could isolate like her eyes and eyebrows and like look into him, like, ugh, like,
oh yeah,
good looking girl, but also like I kind of feel like I always would want her on my side.
Oh yeah,
shit at the fan.
Oh yeah, she's always been a tough girl.
Well, then wasn't she like pretty darn good athletically at East?
Mm-hmm.
Like volleyball, soccer, I can't remember.
She played basketball. And when she was a freshman at East, that's the first year they did actually girls soccer ever.
Okay. Wow.
Which is crazy. So that was being like 88.
Yeah.
And she made varsity right off the bat as a freshman.
Wow.
So she played 4 years of varsity soccer and varsity basketball.
Wow.
I mean, I can tell you how many games I had to go sit and watch.
So why do you think that? I bet. Why do you think that day she was in the vicinity? Because was she just hanging out at the park too and happened to see, or were you guys walking home together? Or
I think we just went there to mess around, play basketball.
Yeah.
And I think they saw us or something, and they always had a beef with me, so they always just kind of showed up, and because Hero lived right there too.
Yeah. The perpetual instigator, I feel like. God. I feel like Puget, however, remember he had the like kind of shaved on the side, and then that like long skinny quasi rat tail thing, and he was always like the shirtless or the sleeveless t-shirt and a soccer stud, but he was small like my size, but he would wind up in scrums with some of these guys, and I feel like he could always kind of wiggle his way out and avoid some of the heavy hitting damage, but it's like some of you guys seem like you have beefs with everybody. Like, what the heck? I mean,
I don't get it.
What's happening at your house that means you want to beat people up 5 days a week after?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I always thought Hero was just a fucking jackass.
Yeah.
I was never friends with him.
Yeah.
Like, Schofield, I didn't really like him either. Like, he was always with Hero. And
yep.
It was always that little group.
Yep.
And like, so.
Well, what was weird is that, like, I saw that for a minute, and then it was actually one of the people I was messaging with yesterday trying to set stuff up is John Brick.
Oh, yeah.
And so the following year, I'm at Prairie, and, like, almost, I mean, there was some kickball, but there was definitely, like, if the weather was nice, I mean, the teachers, I think, had, like, created soccer teams, like, 5 or 6 of them amongst the 2 6th grade classes. And they all had, like, alphabet letter, like, we were the E team. And maybe Friends. It must have been that Friends organized, because I was with like Brian Carter and Cord Chris, and like one team had like Tommy Wallingford, Steve McGee, John Riekoff, John Brick, Brent Crow, and I remember there. If you ever like, if your goalie made a stop and got it out to you, or if you had a turnover and transition play, there would be like 1 or 2 guys on that particular team that you would want to dribble towards, like Brent Crow or Thomas Clough. I don't know if you remember him. Yeah. I don't know if he made it to Indian Hills or East, but it was like, man, I mean, Riekoff and Wallingford and McGee and kind of Brick. I mean, it was just like they were out for blood. They didn't give a shit about soccer. And sometimes, you get knocked down enough times that one of those times you pop up and give a shove or pull a shirt or say something snarky, and then, they close in, and then they've got, and then you're like the rest of the day or the rest of the week or whatever, you're like scared. It's like, man, I don't want to fucking get in a fist fight, especially if you're going to like make some kind of arrangement to where it's unfair, and 2 or 3 of you come after me. Like I can't
Yeah.
barely go toe to toe with one of you. Like, but it really like set, you know, and it's strange that it didn't wind up necessarily being the case with the Schofield Hero crew, but for that 6th grade crew, it was a clear trajectory to like who was going to wind up going out for football. And I mean, Riekoff was pretty good, wasn't he?
Oh, he was really good.
And then McGee, wasn't he kind of like it was like a ha sort of that he was on the team, or I don't remember.
He was kind of fast, but like he's Steve McGee.
Yeah.
He's just a jokester.
And then Brick played too. Was he good?
Yeah, Brick was good.
And then, but Wallingford, he didn't play, did he?
Mm-mm.
No. But anyway, it was just kind of like, you could see like, here's this cluster of like mostly bigger, kind of tough guys, and it makes sense that they all kind of most of them wind up playing football.
Of course.
But man, and then after that, it's like, Indian Hills, and I guess maybe the choice was left to us. I mean, my mom made arrangements for us to ride the bus, and we had bus driver Bob. I mean, he would pick us. Literally, if you came out my mom's house on 69th Terrace and went like 3 houses up, that was our stop. It was perfect.
Nice.
But there was a spell where we would have to cross Row and kind of go down to the edge of the tennis courts and catch the bus there going to, anyway. I remember, I can picture the dude's face, and he almost always wore like a plain white t-shirt, not a sleeveless, but just a, like, I feel like his name was Paul. And he used to fuck with me on the bus, and probably similar to soccer. There was one of those times where, he was fucking with me as I'm going past, and I've, like smacked his hand away or shot him a look or said something. He was like, oh, it's on. And so for like a day and a half, I mean, he literally like would make a point to walk past my locker and just, drill me into it. At the, kind of the edges of the building, you had like just, bottom floor to top floor staircases that just, and so passing period, like he would see me and just fucking drill me into the glass. And he was an 8th grader, and I was still freaking tiny. And like about halfway through that second day in a row, another 8th grader who I feel like maybe knew me from the Troop 182 Scouts.
Yeah.
Or maybe just saw it enough. Maybe he was on the bus with us all the time and just, like cross-checked him in the teeth. Put him on the ground, and he was like, covering his face and trying to, because he was hurt, but also trying to like hide tears. And he got down on his face and was like, fuck with him again, you answer to me.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I was, that was the first time ever that I was like, whatever thee bid, master. And then I would see him be kind of like, little smart ass, shoot him a look. What you got, man? But fuck, dude, and it doesn't really, you get then into high school, and, I'm sure you locker room football stories of somebody getting fucked with in the stall or I don't know. I felt like whenever I like that, you remember like those toilets down in those were the only ones with full size stall doors.
Oh yeah.
In the whole school. Like only if you had like a cool teacher and situation could you actually sneak all the way down there and take a shit, because otherwise every other,
that's right.
Who designed those?
Like, what's up?
Yeah. Man.
I don't know.
But
Open showers though.
Huh?
Open showers.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't need to get into all that, but the list of things in like, just in our country, in our culture of things, the list would be titled, "You could never get away with that today," is so huge. But if you go all the way down, if you drill all the way down to team games and Dave Barreca saying, "Show me your knots."
Yeah.
How many times a day, every time, and you had to wear one of those school issued suits. You had to fucking shower. And then, the sliding of the bar of the soap across the floor. Do you remember that shit? If you want soap, you had to raise your hand and he would.
No, I remember that.
Dude, like so crazy. Like,
God.
That would, if that happened today, like, what is it? USD 512? Is that the school? Mm-hmm. Like, that whole fucking district would be under, like, federal investigation.
Yeah.
And there would be, like, depositions and, but the point is that every time I was in those bathrooms, all the way down in the bowels of that building, I just felt so vulnerable and unprotected. Nothing ever really happened, but it was like, if somebody wanted to fuck with you back, like 3 people wanted to beat the shit out of you, they totally could have. No problem.
Yeah, we're going to go to those prison scenes.
Yeah, and then they would have just, left, and they would have emerged, and then eventually you would have emerged, and everybody would be like, what the fuck? And then it's, your word against theirs, or maybe you're too scared to say something at all.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking crazy.
I know.
Not that I would want to be a girl and go through everything that they go through with, like, being bullied or left out or body shamed.
I don't even know if they even do. I wonder if they even do like co-ed swimming anymore. Like team games, because there used to be a couple chicks in there every once in a while. But I remember at health class, like you'd be in that health class room right there, and everybody would be walking by on swimsuits.
Yep. Just so embarrassed.
In the pool, yeah. Like I don't even know if they do that shit anymore. I doubt it.
There's no fucking way.
Yeah.
Like that would be
or sharing swimsuits either. Like even before COVID, probably.
Yeah.
It's gross.
And it was not only the show me your knots, but you had to hold them like. You couldn't walk in with them like shielding your business because you know, oh my God, so crazy. But we did get way ahead of ourselves, and the point of all that was to talk about how wild 1986 was. Just forget about like our neck of the woods. Like MTV is. What did MTV launch in like 81 or 82?
I think it was 80.
Was it 80? So by 86, that's a household name. Like everybody knows, and they're still largely playing music videos at the time and doing countdowns. And you had all the what's his name? Adam. Remember he had the huge hair. Yeah. Adam Curry, who's known these days as the godfather of podcasting. That's what Joe Rogan calls him. Yeah. He's on Rogan sometimes, and he's like, he's got Tourette's. Oh. So he kind of, he has it's very visible, but he's like also insanely intelligent, and they talk about mostly shit that I'm not interested in or educated enough to understand. But it's still like sometimes I'll just click on it and watch it for a little bit because he was such a. Who are some of the other VJs?
I just saw the other day, it was like Steve Loader or something.
Kurt Loader.
He's like almost 80.
Yeah. Well, shit, he would have been like 40 back then.
Yeah. That's insane.
And then I remember a chick with glasses.
DJ Brown or whatever her name was.
Yeah, I think so.
Then there's the other chick, brown hair. Oh my God, what was it? I always thought she was cute.
Yeah. Yeah. But that was,
VJs.
Yeah, right? That's what,
Hilarious.
And I know they did a million little, like, they might have been one of the first pioneers of brand recognition, because, like, how vivid is the memory of the astronaut with the flag, the MTV flag? Dun, dun, dun,
it still is.
It's like, we didn't, we didn't have, we had cable for a little bit in Atlanta, but we weren't, bedtime, and we were so little, bedtime and, TV monitoring were closely, there was very few opportunities to just put on MTV. But when we were in PV, my mom would always get the dude coming door to door to sell you cable free for a month. And then you'd say yes, and then sometimes they would come around after 30 days and disconnect if you didn't want to pay for it. And sometimes they wouldn't. But I mean, like if you had access to him, did you guys have cable?
Yeah.
So, I mean, were you guys MTV? I mean, just so on your...
I think we even had HBO.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's most
Man, that was like, I'm watching, you know.
Yeah, because my mom used to have a VCR, so she would just record the movie off of HBO.
Oh,
and we'd had this freaking huge library.
Yeah.
Of just
you could fit
VHS.
like 2.5, 3 movies on one.
Yeah.
And then if everybody in the family or whoever was in charge, like, had enough of a movie, but you're out of tapes, you cross it out and re-record, you know, see like the blip of the movie that used to be recorded.
Yep.
Fuck, that was where, that was kind of the birthplace of stand-up comedy specials. I mean, that's where you get like, I think that's where you got like Eddie Murphy Delirious and Raw. And there were very few. But when they would put one out, it was like a blockbuster. I mean, like Louis Anderson, and George Carlin, and Cosby, and Pryor, and I mean, man. But MTV, man, the top 20 or whatever it was, countdown was. It felt like there wasn't a lot of overlap in that with the Casey Kasem weekly top 40 that you would hear on Sundays or what. Like sometimes there would be, but I mean, like MTV's stuff was largely based on video popularity.
Oh yeah,
just kind of tied to song popularity. But anyway, man,
you can still hear. I think it's 94.9 in the early Sunday mornings. You can still hear Casey Kasem, their original recordings from like the 80s.
Wow.
It's pretty cool because they do like all the long distance and like there'll be like, oh, this song was number 1 this week. So you look it up what year that was. And I was like, holy shit, 1984. Well,
I mean, I was just thinking about this other dude that I was trying to get on the books and he picked Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. And that strangely came up as a record after the fact from the gal I interviewed last Tuesday. She's like, you got to include this. I was like, well, we didn't talk about it, but whatever. So I went and looked at that record, and it's from 73, something like that. And it's like an hour and 16 minutes long when most records around that time were like 40, 45, 50 minutes.
Really?
And it's got, I mean, if you look up the track listing for that record, it's like so many big, you know, it opens with Funeral for a Friend, Love Lies Bleeding. You know that track?
Maybe. If I heard it.
The first part is like really synthesized, like spacey organ, sad sounding. And then it turns into Love Lies Bleeding in the... And anyway.
Yeah, I think so.
But Candle in the Wind is like track 2 or 3. And I was like, well, this must be a reissue. Because there's no way that song came out in like 73. And so I looked it up and sure as shit, it did. And I was like, well, it didn't become popular until like the late 80s. I remember hearing somebody call in Casey Kasem and I want to dedicate this to my lover in Pasadena and dying of, you know, and then Candle in the Wind was a massive hit.
Yeah.
And it was like, and then a lot of us that were kind of too young to really know were like, oh, there's a hat tip to Marilyn Monroe in there. And I mean, the whole song's about her, I guess.
When Princess Diana died, they made it into that.
Yeah. And you meant like, My Name's Luca.
Mm-hmm.
Susanna Hoffs from the Bangles. A song about like domestic violence being heard. Dear Mr. Jesus. You remember that? It's like a song that a kid was like, Dear Mr. Jesus, I just had to write to you.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Something really scared me when I saw it on the news. The story of a little girl beaten black and blue.
Oh, shit.
It's the whole song is about like a child recording a song praying to Jesus to not have other children get abused or whatever. It's just like, but that, I mean, I remember that one being, or what else? So many long distance dedications. Yeah. I gotta pee. Let's take a break. All right, we're back. Where were we? Long distance dedications.
That's right.
You said you were remembering a bunch of funny stuff.
Not about that, but just other stuff with like grade school and Boy Scouts and us a long time ago.
Man.
Just think how long have we been friends?
I know. I mean, we mentioned that Old Methodist United, I think was the name of that church there. I think it's still there on Shawnee Mission Parkway in Mission.
Oh, wait, where we had the meetings?
Yeah, one troop 192.
Oh, it is Shawnee Mission Parkway, yeah.
Yeah.
Shit, yeah.
We've talked about it before, but like Tom Croas and Jake Wagner and remember Colin Pestinger, the huge dude with the size like 50. Anyway.
I was always scared of him.
Yeah, I remember we got into like, well, first of all, I mean, there was plenty. Are you chilly?
No, I just got chill.
Plenty of campouts where there was booze that I think the leaders had, and maybe sometimes some of the kids. Definitely there was somebody was smoking something, cigarettes or pot, but that was the crew that, I mean, something happened to Kevin Smith on a campout.
Did it?
Yeah, like they were bullying him or he got beat up or something. And like,
is that 192 or is that the other one? The Somerset.
That was
crew or whatever. They used to meet at Somerset.
Man.
There's another like troop.
Yeah, I don't remember that one.
There was always like the bad troop or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It wasn't 192, it was
you're right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't remember their numbers.
I think we went on a camp out or two with that troop and then wound up at the other one.
Yeah.
But I remember being at Bartle and like, I mean, just like the mess hall and having KP duty and we got into a beef. Like some of those older kids started a beef with another troop, and there was like cross mess hall shouting like during mealtime, and I remember it spilled into
the cat came back.
What is that?
The cat came
No,
back.
Yeah, but why was that? Well, just one of the songs,
yeah.
kind of like head, shoulders, knees, and toes, or
it's one of those random.
But I remember we were like gathered as a troop at the edge of our campsite, and the bus of this troop that we had a beef with was driving by, and they were all like out the window going, 192, we're sick. It was 109, 192, we're sick of you. And Colin Pestinger goes, 109, suck my vine. I was just like, oh my God, what the fuck?
He's probably 16?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But man, what's really crazy is that like that's all that shit. Like License to Ill also came out that year, and I definitely had zero awareness of it then, because I know that I was, by the time I was aware of it, I was listening to, I don't know, Q104 or KY102 or something in my mom's room in PV. And that's when I think Fight for Your Right.
Yeah, that was the first one.
Was the first. And it was like, what?
Who are these white guys?
Well, yeah, what is this? And not too long after, I got a copy of it on cassette. And I remember, like, I don't know how long this lasted, but having some hesitation, not because I was afraid or anything, but just like I didn't, put it in the player like I would for Led Zeppelin or Def Leppard or Billy Joel or whatever, and like listen to. I was just perplexed by the cover.
Mm-hmm. The
plane crashing and like their name on the tail fin or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool album cover, I think.
Oh, it was really cool.
Yeah.
But I think by the time I did, I feel like I was probably always fast forwarding just to that song and listening to it and then rewinding it and listening to it again. And, who knows how long it stayed in its spot on my shelf before I did a start to finish. And whenever I did that, then immeasurable years before I had an awareness of what an amazing record it was. And I mean, I've talked to like, I don't know, man, 40, 50 people about trying to, do this. And you're still, as of right now, the only person that has even mentioned it.
Really?
Yeah. And I mean, like, insane kudos to you, because I can't believe every single person that's roughly our age hasn't mentioned it.
Oh God! Like I bet I could still sing every line to every song of that album, which is probably one of the only albums I could do that to, because again, Wade across the street.
I was just about to ask, how did it fall in your lap?
So at that point, skating was huge, and everybody wanted to get that haircut with the sides and let the top grow out and get the bangs or whatever, like Seth Gilman.
Puget.
Yeah.
Gilman had one of those too?
Oh yeah, he had a nice fucking skater haircut. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know.
I was like 7th grade probably, but so yeah, of course we couldn't afford like a good skateboard, so we got those big fat skateboards this.
Yeah.
I had a Turbo 2 from fucking, I think it was some random
Kmart
thrift store.
Yeah.
But yeah, we used to skate out in front, and the Beastie Boys came along, and that was like perfect, and
somebody had a boombox outside, or
yeah, we would just play that and skate or do whatever. A lot of times we'd go over to his house, and so I was Mike D. And I don't think I ever told you this, but
no,
I was Mike D. Adam was
Adam got to come along for a lot of the Wade Laird adventures, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was always there too. Like so there's Mike D.
MCA.
MCA was Adam.
Okay.
And oh my gosh, who's the other guy?
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank too.
Mike D. MCA.
Jesus. I'm gonna be so embarrassed.
I can think of it. One of them passed away.
I thought MCA. Yeah.
So yeah, that was Adam. I was Mike D because he was more quiet, and it was his name was Adam.
Ad Rock.
Yep. I was gonna say his name was Adam Horowitz or something like that, wasn't
it? Yeah.
So that was Wade. And so we'd all have all the...
Did he get to decide who was who, or was it democratic? Or?
Yeah, I think we just kind of figured it out or whatever. And so we would go over there and just, we tie like, back there when the skater gear was like, tie the flannel around your waist and have long jeans or long baggy shorts and Vans or whatever. But I never had Vans. But so yeah, we just, and I remember like dancing in his... Not dancing, but like lip syncing to the Beastie Boys in his living room, and he'd be up on his dining room table, and of course his parents were home because they would beat the shit out of him. But
did that actually happen?
Yeah,
he would. No, I mean he would get the shit beat out of him.
Oh yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
you said only child told the whole story, but
yeah,
there's a little bit more.
Yeah,
Wow. So I didn't realize. I guess it didn't occur to me that you would be granted indoor privileges at his place too.
I think only when his parents weren't there.
Yeah,
like it was the same house that we had, but they had also an extra room in the back and an extra bathroom or something.
Okay,
but yeah, I mean we would. I remember hanging out in his garage because they had a double garage over there
attached.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow!
And we just had a single in my house, so we'd go over there and we just
plenty of room.
Yeah, just when you're a kid.
Yeah,
shoot BB guns in the garage.
Wow, light shit on fire maybe.
Yeah, I'm sure we lit some shit on fire. Wow. Fireworks was always a fun time. But yeah, no, Beastie Boys was one of my first favorite albums.
So
still is.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, I mean, I know they put out a bunch of things, but I mean, there's a few that are kind of a little lesser known or more for like the eclectic or the diehard Beasties fan, but there's a handful. Licensed to Ill, Paul's Boutique. What else?
I didn't really get into the other
Check
ones.
Your Head. Was that? I know that was a song.
What
was it? And then, shit, this is embarrassing.
I didn't really get into the second, third, fourth, or whatever albums were after that.
Not even older?
I mean, a little bit, but I never bought their albums. But
License to Ill, Paul's Boutique, Check Your Head, Ill Communication, and then Hello Nasty, and then the other stuff is not that it's not amazing, but it's just like, lesser known. And
didn't they have an album before License to Ill?
No, I think that was their debut.
Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else.
But that, I include Hello Nasty because it was like 98, and that's the year I graduated college, and I guess it would have been the third of 3 straight years that I did a radio show. And so I just had a general awareness of new stuff that was coming up. Plus I lived with like this kind of cooler, older dude from the East Coast that was more music savvy than I was. But along those same lines, like, Paul's Boutique, I think I missed it when it came out, but Check Your Head was, when that came out, that was, we were older and like way into girls and going to parties, and they had that like kind of like suave, like, fly with the ladies look to their videos.
What you
yeah,
want.
exactly. But one could have gotten 4 or 5 records deep into their discography before ever revisiting License to Ill and recognizing how amazing it was. I was so you heard it a lot at Wade's, and you guys would have parts and you would rap, lip sync, act out, whatever.
Yeah.
Would you hear it anywhere else away from his place, or?
Well, I believe they played on the radio a lot. I don't remember. Maybe not so much.
Girls
rap back then was like kind of.
Yeah, Girls was released as a single, wasn't it?
I think so. Brass Monkey, maybe.
Maybe.
No Sleep Till Brooklyn. That's probably one of my favorites.
I just was revisiting it recently, and let's see here, Rhymin' and Stealin' as the opener.
Oh yeah.
If you like, one of the reasons why the idea for this was so appealing to me is because I've always been like I've always very romantically adored the idea of a musical outfit that performs, practices, rehearses, writes original stuff, and then however the trajectory goes, they wind up with an opportunity to go in a studio and sit down and record an album. And for me, it's kind of like this gal that I was interviewing last Tuesday. She was a singer-songwriter, and she put out her first album a year ago, and she regrets doing it in that form. Now she's just like, she has new material, and she just released a new song like 2 weeks ago or something like that, and like the next one is kind of ready to roll, but she's sort of letting the momentum of this first one linger, and then when she feels like it's faded, she'll do the next one, and then the one after that she hasn't even recorded it yet. But that's how she's going to release stuff, and she regrets releasing an album because she says that's no longer the unit of measurement. People just drop tracks these days, which I think that she's probably right about. She's certainly more informed than I am, and I've kind of seen a couple little things here and there just in the last week that kind of point to, I guess at least maybe for hip hop and a couple of other genres, people maybe do that, but I still adore the album format, and it makes me think of literally photo albums. I mean, growing up, like by the time we were, let's say by 86, like there was enough, there was a shelf in my mom's room that, three shelves, and on one she had some books that she, trashy, like grocery store romance. And on one shelf, she probably had some knickknacks, but then there was a whole shelf of photo albums. Right. And I could like the blue one was my baby book, and the green one next to it was Tiffany's, and then they kind of went chronologically after that. And it's like, we, for years, like loved to like pull those out and flip through them. Mm-hmm. And it was like, oh, this is the apartment in South Carolina where I was born that I don't really remember. My only memories are from looking through this photo album. Yeah. And then, here's Tiffany's born, and then, like there's, one that has like the place that my folks lived at 83rd and Lamar, where Tiffany was born. And then my dad has moved out because like my Aunt Susie and my mom like bought matching 81 Toyota Tercels together, and they were like always in the driveway, and just this whole snapshot of a certain time. And that's what I love about albums, like choosing, let's just say 10 tracks. So we've got these, well, maybe during the last 2 years that we've been rehearsing, or 18 months or whatever, we've been rehearsing and practicing, maybe we've written 16, but we really only love 12, and the record label wants us to keep it to 10. And so then you're like, I'm assuming numerous outfits have debate about which 10 are going to make the cut. And then I'm sure fights break out, and disagreements and hurt feelings. And then eventually, if you're determined to put this thing out and keep your outfit together, you decide on 10, and then you got to decide on the order. Yeah. And then you have your 10, you have your order, and you go, you're recording each one, and each one might, maybe every once in a while you nail it on the first take, but you might record each track 7, 8, 9 times before you got it. And I don't know if by 86 stuff was technologically advanced enough to where like a producer or whoever could take like the good parts, the early parts of a song from take 3 and the good parts of take 6, and then like make, squish it together and make I don't know, but there's a bonding to me that happens. And then cover art, and how are the credits going to be written, and are you including lyrics, and how do you arrive at this image of this jet? It's really like fascinating, and
it's a lost art.
It really is. And the gal, that's what she was saying, and I was like, that's crazy. But if you, from 1986 looking back, that started in like definitely the early 60s, if not sooner. You had the Beatles and Zapp, like people were definitely putting out records. But choosing that song order has always been it's always been very fascinating to me, with like Zeppelin and Floyd and many, many others. But for this album in particular, Rhymin' and Stealin' is such a fucking baller to open with. Yeah. You get like I feel like it opens with like a sample of the drums from When the Levee Breaks by Led Zeppelin. You got the, I think that's right. Yeah. And then they're all of a sudden they're like, gotta get to and scratching, and then they're all taking. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What is this?
That was way new back then. Like nobody was doing that. Like especially 3 white guys.
Yeah.
Which is pretty amazing.
Yeah. And they just had like a certain way. I mean, other people were sampling, other people were rapping, other people were doing stuff that people hadn't done before, but they had a way of dropping little kernels, lyrically, obviously beats too, but lyrically, where you go like the rhyming and stealing. There's a line in there that ends with the phrase Davy Jones locker. And you hear that now and you think Pirates of the Caribbean, or at least I do.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, how did that arrive for them? I mean,
yeah,
such a good track.
Yeah.
And then the second one's called The New Style, and I mean it's there's not a bad track on the album, but it's I remember it much less than Rhymin' and Stealin', until it gets to, again, like multiple locker. I went into your locker and I smashed your glasses. It's just like, I could totally, as somebody that has felt bullied and also done a little bit of bullying of my own, like I can totally identify with that line. When you guys would get on his dining room table or whatever, were there particular tracks that go-tos, or would it change up? Or
play the whole album? Just however many tracks. I don't even remember how many songs, but like,
I mean, that almost requires you and your brother to have to like practice once you're home so that you can,
I think we just listened to it so many times that we were just, we knew like who was singing what part. Like you could tell when MCA's singing or Mike D's singing or King at Rock, and like we just got it down. And I still, to this day, if I hear it, I sing the Mike D parts.
Nice.
So like,
Nice. That's what I came here to do, is sing the Mike D parts.
And he's kind of the quieter one.
Yeah. Which, I mean, you could argue that role could go to Adam too.
Yeah.
Can't think of too many quieter human beings. At least, back when we were young.
Yeah,
but
that was fun.
She's Crafty has a Zeppelin sample, and I mean they were like, I mean, obviously you get older and more sophisticated and wiser, and you can kind of like follow the lyrical trajectory of a song. But back then it felt, whenever I first became familiar with that one, it's like they were packing in so much lyrically in each line inside a verse that it was like hard for me to keep up with. And even if I knew all the words, I probably didn't know every nuance or every little thing they're talking about, but they would pack it all in. And then at the very end of the verse, and she's just my type, she's crafty. And then you get like, I don't know if that's a cowbell, like, good shit. Posse and Effect. It's got like huge bass, which, I mean, the king of bass for me will always be DJ Magic Mike, but I mean, I don't think he was on the scene until 87 or 88, and that bass line in Posse and Effect is no slouch, like booming.
Yeah.
And Abe got rhymes like Abe Vigoda. It's like, what?
Who?
So then you get Slow Ride, which has like an island kind of Jimmy Buffett feel. They have a horn sample from War's Lowrider. Oh my friend.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
That's right.
And there's a line that mentions Brass Monkey in it, so it's like a tease. But that's, I mean, the album is 13 tracks, and so we're 5 tracks in, and they're all baller tracks.
Yeah.
But we haven't even touched what put them on the map. Yeah. It's like, holy shit, dude. Like, I feel like if you talk to a pretty big Beastie Boys fan, a lot of people would tab Paul's Boutique as the best or their favorite or whatever, because it's got like, I don't know, it's got like a much more funkier feel to it and kind of underground and secret. But whereas License Still is kind of, an Asher Gelbart jab to the face of David Rowe, kind of just,
It's kind of like rock and rap.
Yep.
Mixed together, like.
So track 6 is Girls. What is that, a xylophone? I don't mean, So catchy.
I just remember like that's just like one of their fun songs. Like
yeah.
But yet it's still everybody knows it.
Well, I remember first hearing it and being like, sort of like hanging out with Wade Laird, being like, this guy's a little aggressive. Not like I don't feel unsafe, but I'm just a little unsure. When that one hit my radar, I was like, I had already clearly established that I liked girls, but that was like, in the morning it's girl, in the evening it just, girls. I mean, it's like, dude.
I think it's is it Fight for Your Right after that?
It's that I feel like it, that girl, it kind of like gets dragged out and then just eventually fades, and then you get that or kick it.
I was just going in my head, like, I know the next song is like.
And then, I mean, how many things did we kind of sort of already know about, but then like confirmed that they were realities from that song? I mean, talk about finding the centerfold in the bushes. Yeah, your mom threw away your best porn mag. Or Pops caught me smoking. He said, no way. That hypocrite smokes 2 packs a day.
Yep.
I mean,
it fit just right in with the. I mean, I wasn't smoking, but
right
back then, but
all of it made sense.
Yeah. I mean, it was perfect. I mean,
who would have thunk that song coming out and being so wildly popular while also being so wildly different, sort of this mix, like you said, of rock and rap. And obviously we're hearing it the first time in KC, and I challenge you to name a city with like larger pride issues. I mean, how many times in your life have you like, oh, KC doesn't get any, and people want to like list off the things that we have and blah, blah, blah. But 34 years after that album comes out, we get Travis Kelce
just
holding Goosebumps, the Lombardi. And that's whoever it is it fucking Terry Bradshaw that's up there, old and way past retirement?
With his walker.
And he, to me, famously now, he'll, Matt, how does it feel? And he has this whole lead up to the actual question.
Yeah.
And then when he goes to like point the mic in your mouth's direction. The recipient goes to grab the mic, and then he won't ever let go. It's just this awkward. But I don't think Kelce did. I think he just leaned in and went, and it's kind of like, wow, dude.
Yeah.
You went 86 old school Beastie Boys as your description of how it felt to win the first Super Bowl championship for the Chiefs in 50 years. Like,
yeah. I was like, that's perfect.
It was so perfect. So fucking perfect.
Love it.
Man, did the Broncos overpay for Dangerous Wilson? 2 firsts, 2 seconds, Noah Font, a linebacker, something else.
Oh my God, I didn't know I did that much.
Oh, there was like 7 line items, and then the Seahawks gave a 4th, and Drew Lock. Or I mean, the Seahawks got a 4th. I think it was a 4th, and Drew Lock.
They got Drew Lock.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, whatever.
Yeah,
he certainly like they overpaid.
Well,
I don't know. You'll have to see. I mean, like, I don't know. Gosh, I mean, how old is Russ now?
33.
Yeah,
I think.
I don't know. I mean, if he could stay healthy, maybe.
Yeah.
But
I looked at the day that it was announced. I looked because my Broncos fans are like, this is amazing. It's just perfect, and he's awesome. He's elite. He's a top whatever, and there's so much pride at the fact that like there was no leaks about that. It was. Yeah. And we're like, what? Clearly, they had been talking for some time. Elwood, been talking to whoever the person is in Seattle. But so I looked at 21 and 20. Just Google, just a literal Siri, ask. And he was ranked like 13th one of the years and 12th one of the years. And I was like, 12 and 13 out of 32 to me isn't exactly elite.
No.
Now, if I was coming from Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock and whoever else they've, who was that younger kid that was supposed to be the answer?
Yeah, the one they drafted.
That's in New Orleans.
Paxton
Yes. Yeah. Paxton. There was somebody before him.
Tebow.
Well, yeah. But, I mean, Russell Wilson's clearly an upgrade.
Oh, yeah.
And so but Alex is saying, you always have to pay, top tier for top tier talent. I'm like, but the point that I'm trying to make is if somebody says, like, pretend this trade never happened, and I don't happen to have a certain section of my core and my soul devoted to hating the Broncos, and you're just somebody I never met, and we're having at a bar a random conversation about the elite NFL quarterbacks. I mean, you go Rodgers, right? Whether you want to or not, you go Mahomes. I mean, I think very small sample size, but I mean, I think Josh Allen and Joe Burrow have, and then your cousin Tom Brady stayed retired for 2 whole weeks.
Oh, that fucking asshole.
What a fucking, I don't understand.
Well, did you hear that person that has his, that sold the last touchdown pass ball?
For like $500,000 or something.
You're an idiot.
But I mean, who else do you put in there? I think you have to Herbert. I was just gonna say. It's hard for me to
Trubisky.
think.
Just kidding. He just signed with somebody, didn't he?
The Steelers.
That's right. Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah. I mean, that's Big Ben's. He officially retired. Like, right?
He did.
I mean, I
haven't heard.
I thought he did. Like,
he should.
At very least, he was. It was very obvious that that was his last season in Pittsburgh. But I mean, not that Big Ben was super duper amazing, but I don't think Trubisky's track record in Chicago was.
Oh, hell no.
Very awesome.
But actually, I saw something today that his stats are, with all the shitty players he had to throw to, is actually just about the same as fucking the Browns quarterback.
Baker?
Yeah.
Okay. So on this list, I also saw, what's the kid from Arizona?
Murray.
Kyler Murray.
Yeah, he's good.
Homeboy from Tennessee.
Really?
Yeah, what's his name? Yeah, exactly. Tannehill.
Yeah, Tannehill.
And obviously a handful of others, all listed before Russell Wilson.
Really?
So when you go back to that, like, I have no biases, we're perfect strangers in a bar talking elite NFL quarterbacks, like, I'm not including Russell Wilson.
No.
And I feel like they're just so, on cloud 9 about the upgrade that they're, like, inaccurately viewing. I mean, of course he can probably still make some things happen. He's always been able to make things happen with his feet, right?
Yeah.
And he's always had a good arm. Yeah. But, I mean, he's never been...
I mean, he's been to, what, 2 Super Bowls? 1-1?
He's now officially the first quarterback in NFL history to start for a team that he beat in a Super Bowl.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Because they kicked the ever-living shit.
Manning, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Well, he could only throw like 7 yards, and it looked like a duck.
I think the first play of that game was the safety.
Yeah, it was. And then I feel like the first kick coming out of halftime was also something.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a typical Broncos Super Bowl loss where it wasn't by a field goal. It was by like 30 points or something horrible.
Plus, I mean, Seattle had badass defense back then.
They did.
And they haven't really since then.
Well, everybody has said ever since they had to pay Russ that the rest of their talent pool has suffered because all that money has been tied up.
That's what happens, yeah.
and I feel like in our high school buddies text thread, somebody just said very recently, probably because some of Khalil Mack went to the Chargers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they signed somebody else, and somebody in the thread pointed out, well, yeah, they can do all this until they have to pay Herbert because he's on that.
That's what they're doing. Yeah, that's what we did.
Yeah, yeah.
Rookie contract. And
what do you think about Nate's assessment of the D-line? Is it the worst in the division?
I think so.
I think it is
they
too,
just re-signed
man.
Clark for some.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
Like
the Chiefs?
Recently?
Yeah.
How many years?
I think it's like 2 more years.
Okay.
I think they restructure, or I'm not exactly sure, but we're keeping him for some.
So did anything ever come with him having that trunk full of guns in California?
I don't think it's happened yet.
Oh, it's still, he hasn't had his court date yet?
Yeah.
But we re-signed him.
Good job.
Nice. Man, he looked, I don't want to say a step slower or a step older, but it feels like leading up to that Super Bowl win, on and off the field, he seemed like a very hungry player. And I feel like it's so easy to, armchair GM, but watching him on TV, many, many plays where it looked like him and Chris Jones, which we've seen often, just kind of quit. Like the assignment was a B gap or whatever it was, and they do an RPO and the play breaks over here, so they just quit running. Mm-hmm. It's like, what happens if everybody over here misses their assignment? Shouldn't you be in position? And I feel like we saw a lot of that from the Honey Badger too, where it's like he's right at the goal line, and the ball carrier, whether it's somebody that caught a pass or had a handoff or whatever, is at the 12, and they make, a juke or a cut, and he's just like, Ole. It's like...
Yeah, I'm not too sad to see him go.
I know, because I feel like he was really jazzed up to come here.
Yeah.
And you verbally, emotionally, vocally, but then I felt like he would light dudes up on the field and talk trash, and now it's just kind of been like, I got my ring.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got his ring. I mean, I'm not too sad to see him go.
This Justin Field safety that we signed?
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
I think he was a Texan.
Or was he again?
I think so. Yeah. In fact, I saw a clip or a headline that said that probably had a highlight reel in it or a video clip in it that I didn't watch. But I guess there was maybe a play where he lit Tyreek up in the game. Yeah, I don't know.
They played each other, but... who was I going to say? Somebody signed Von Miller.
The Bills.
That's right.
$50 million or something for 4 years.
Shitting me? I swear to God, I wish I was an NFL player.
Yeah.
Way overpaid.
But
damn.
He's been around for a minute, man.
Yeah.
Like he'd been
2015 was when he had the MVP.
Well, I mean, he had been around for a minute by the time we got Alex Smith, it felt like. And then, in that era, the Broncos D was kind of this heralded thing. And of course they had Peyton too, but I mean, Vaughn was a beast. And then it was so sad when he got traded. But then he went and won fucking Super Bowl. And then, it's kind of that like, remember when that used to happen in baseball a lot? Like, trades would happen late, and it would be, I mean, I feel like it happened as recently as when the Royals went to back-to-back series, and it was like one team or another gets a guy for the push, and then they either win a ring or don't, and that guy's not back with that team in the spring.
Yeah.
So wild.
That seems weird to me.
But it'd be interesting to see if he can, I mean, not to say that he's ever, showed any trend toward not being able to stay healthy, but a 4-year big money deal seems kind of like a big deal for somebody that's not exactly young anymore.
Yeah. Could you imagine retiring at 38 years old?
Or 32?
Yeah.
No,
or even like Barry Sanders?
Not at all. But I mean, so Josh McDaniel, head coach in the Raiders.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Really?
Damn.
Yeah.
I'm like missing out.
Well, I mean, I'm not. I knew that. Like I saw it for a split set. You know how our attention spans are. I saw it and it like registered, and then I sneezed and it was gone.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh yeah, they did. They had that interim coach after all the Gruden shit.
Yeah, that's right. I forget about that.
And then gone. And Josh McDaniel.
How does that guy keeps getting a job?
Well, I remember looking into it a little bit when it happened, and it was like he left New England, became the Broncos head coach, didn't do so well, and then went back to Belichick and said, can I have my... And then, yeah, he got his job back, but then he left and he went somewhere else for, I don't know, a season or maybe...
In Houston, maybe?
I'm not sure, maybe, but whatever he... So he got his job back, but then bailed on it and then went back, and they're like, yeah, come on. And gave him his OC job back again, which he's had for, I don't know, 4 or 5, 6 years now. And then Mark fucking Davis, the oddest fucking haircut in the land,
Oh my God.
nabs him. That's who you choose to, to follow in the footsteps of the 10-year, $100 million John Gruden.
Yeah. Well, who's that other coach that just got hurt? Used to be the Bears coach.
Lovie Smith.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck?
Somebody hired him, like
How?
Houston or somebody.
And yet, Bieniemy's not getting anything.
Well, I think there's like plenty of off the radar stuff to suggest that he's maybe not the nicest guy.
No, really.
I think so.
That sucks.
But whatever the story is with him, I don't really care. What I do care about is whether or not bringing back Spags and Bieniemy is the right choice for Andy at this time. Like, in his head, he's probably got to have some idea of how much longer he wants to do this.
Oh yeah,
5 years, one more Lombardi, and then I'm out, or whatever it is. And maybe it's 3 years, and he doesn't want to start over with a new OC or a new DC or both. And it's just comfortable, and he's got confidence in himself that he's always had a good regime and blah, blah, blah. But with all the shit that's happened with, Bieniemy away, I mean, he fucking got on a plane and went to Denver on a Saturday before one of our playoff games.
Bieniemy did?
Yeah.
Really?
To interview for their head coach job.
Yeah, God.
Which I feel like...
That should be not...
Well, it's never used to be that way. It always used to be the team has either just won the Super Bowl or they've been eliminated. And then you start seeing, he's going to L.A. or whatever for an interview.
Yeah. Which that should be.
I was like, we have a fucking playoff game tomorrow. But anyway, I'm sure you saw either on your own or in our thread that there was maybe on that play to Tyreek before, as the first half was ending against the Bengals and he didn't make it in.
Yeah.
That there was, it was definitely in the thread because Mark Borichter was tweeting about it, and how many times have we seen as soon as a play ends, Mahomes is, and that, I mean, I think that's always directed at Bieniemy. I think he's the one calling it in.
Like, come on.
Yeah, like I need to, which is what you need to do. I play hockey with guys where a play happens and a penalty goes uncalled, and they'll skate around for 25 seconds chirping at the ref. Meanwhile, play is now it's down here, and you're out of position. You've left your teammates all alone. You got to always next play. It's like
LeBron James.
Yeah. I don't know what that means. Is that what he does?
Oh, I saw something where he was trying to get a foul, but he just, walked down the court, and then they stole the ball, and he just kind of walked back, and it was so dumb, and he's just tripping at the refs the whole time.
Yeah,
and I mean, this is
like Tom Brady.
Yeah, I mean,
but
guys.
Anyway, there was an article, and I don't know if it was fake or whatever, but it was like this whole, Bieniemy calls in a play, and then somebody, that other dude that's like pretty high up in the on the offensive side of the ball. That other coach, he got hired by somebody else to be the OC, and Wilkie was like freaking out. Like,
yeah, I can't remember his name.
Frank something or other.
Coons or something.
I don't remember.
I don't know.
But either way, somebody was like, Bieniemy called this play, and then somebody else was like, no, you're running this play, and Mahomes was allegedly like, what the fuck? And the way that this story was written was that like all of that was happening in here, and that was one of the many things that Boerichter was tweeting. He's like, only one person gets to speak.
No
it's
shit.
not multiple. There's not multiple people speaking into it, and it's also Mahomes doesn't have a microphone. He can't, So maybe it was like something that like a little quarrel on the sidelines or whatever. But I mean, we've witnessed, very clear beef that Super Bowl winning year between Bieniemy and Kelsey. I mean, they like shoved each other at one point on the sidelines, and then they had like a big giant bear hug after they won it all.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's some of that stuff that happens on the sideline anyway, but
I know, man, but I just wonder if probably 3 years in a row, we've seen really slow starts from the D, like 6 weeks, and we're like, what the? And then they kind of like find their stride, and they improve. They're never elite, but they improve. And I don't know what we witnessed in the second half of that Bengals game, but
I have no idea what happened. Offense and defense.
We had a 3-touchdown lead. I mean, I know that
again,
it's the 2020s, and the whole league has been aimed at offense and passing and quarterback prowess for years. It's just the way it was before it was a thing. Like everybody would say this is the direction the league wants things to go, and then it went that way. And I'm sure ratings soared because who doesn't love watching big pass playing, attacking offenses, and so I mean, you can't establish a 3-score lead and let it completely evaporate on the defensive side, but you also can't expect to not score any more points for the second half of the game, especially
when you fuck up the first half.
Well,
not score any points right before half.
Yeah, that last possession. But I mean, you had, especially when you have a team like that Bengals team coming in, and I mean, I don't think we saw anyone cockier than Joe Burrow late in the season, and we had just played them. And who was Case? Was that where's the number one? Chase. That was because whoever was commenting kept saying Chase is on the case. Kept just lighting us up.
That's why they drafted him first.
Yeah, I mean, so I mean,
they weren't scared of us at all.
No.
It was the exact same playbook of the time we played them during the regular season.
Yeah.
Get up on them, and then they came back in the second half, and we were stupid at the end of the game. And
yeah, well, I guess at this point, I feel like all the big free agency splashes have probably already happened. So at this point, we have to like rely on the draft and some of those draft picks being like ready to start. Or start by week 6 or whatever. Because
did we sign Jarvis Landry?
I think we did. I think. Was he a Browns receiver?
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Good.
I saw that and I was like, cool. And then I saw like a couple people say that he was slow or something. I was like, I'm not going to give this any energy right now.
Yeah, no, he's not. He's younger than Tyreek, I think.
Really?
I think so.
Okay. All right. But anyway, props to Travis Kelce for putting KC and championships and Beastie Boys all on the map in one breath.
Yeah.
No Sleep Till Brooklyn. Rick Rubin, the famous producer, hired or made it happen so that the guitarist from Slayer came in and recorded that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Paul Revere.
Crazy.
Like, yeah. I don't know that I could, like, off the top of my head, name another song like Paul Revere that has such a fascinating story. And yeah. I couldn't exactly tell you what's happening, but there's a girl and some 40s and a wiffle ball bat and
like a bar or something, and like I can't remember it all, but yeah,
it stands out big time.
Yeah.
Hold It Now, Hit It. Kind of a tribal island.
It was all right.
It was all right. And then you get to Brass Monkey. Which I mean, was that a brand of 40?
Gosh, Brass Monkey. It's got to be something.
Yeah. I mean, Sam Milton had was it Crazy Horse?
Crazy Horse, yeah.
And then a lot of the rappers from the late 80s, early 90s had Old E.
Yep.
They would be drinking the 40s of Old E and
gin juice.
Gin, yeah. But then Brass Monkey. Okay, I don't know.
I think it actually, if I'm thinking right, it might be something to do with. I could be totally wrong, but I think it's something to do with like slipping a Mickey or something. You know what I mean?
For real?
It might be. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm totally wrong.
Right.
Who knows?
Yeah. Slipping a Mickey was our kind of nice-ish way of saying roofing somebody back in the day, right?
Yeah. I could be totally wrong.
Now, and was slipping a Mickey because Mickey's wide mouths was easier to like get your drugs into the person's? Oh, God.
Forgot about Mickey wide mouths.
Yeah. Slow and Low was a really good example of rock and rap kind of colliding. And if memory serves, it was at least the second, if not the third, White Castle reference on the record. It's like, if we, again, going back to 86, and you go, like, remember how, like, 75th to, like, 80th and Metcalf was, like, kind of the restaurant mecca back then? We had, like, remember La Cocina del Puerco? Mm-hmm. And then Fuddruckers. And there was definitely that was where the White Castle was. Mm-hmm. I was never a fan. I always kind of thought it was gross.
I didn't like it. I mean,
but people, I see people, KC people on, social media. If they're like going to St. Louis, that's like one of the first things people ask. It's not, you're going to see the Arch Blues game, Cardinals game, City Museum. You're going to go to White Castle? Yeah, I'm going to get fucking 24 of them and shit my pants on the drive back to the hotel.
You can get them at fucking 7-Eleven.
I feel like in the early 80s, I think I had White Castle in Atlanta. And I feel like it was not terrible square patty on almost like kind of like a biscuit, like biscuits and gravy, like kind of
like a Hawaiian bun.
It was. Ooh, I hate those.
I mean, it wasn't. I don't think it was a Hawaiian bun, but it was like that shape.
Okay,
like
yeah,
that size.
And I remember enjoying it. Like there was like kind of a buttery, crispy. Onions. Was there? Oh wow.
For some reason, I think there was like little holes in the meat. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
To get like
steam the bun or cook the patty quicker or whatever. But I remember like having it and being like, oh, this is, kind of like every once in a while, I don't go very often at all, but every once in a while, I'll make a bad decision and get McDonald's for breakfast and like a sausage biscuit.
Yeah.
Like whatever, I don't know, man, 35, 40 years later, there's still something about, like, it's still just like, oh, man, this is the shit. Like, from childhood, like, so good. Yeah. Like, I remember, being creeped out by cutting your hotcakes in the styrofoam and syrup, like, spilling, and the squeak of the styrofoam with your plastic knife, but still just loving it. Like, I'm eating McDonald's for breakfast. I got pancakes and syrup and a hash brown and sausage or whatever.
This is shit.
Yeah. But whenever I had White Castle for the second time or whatever time it was, just being kind of like, this feels like very mass produced and fakey, and there's not a whole lot of satisfaction.
Yeah.
Like, in fact, I don't even think I want to finish the one, but people go insane over it. And obviously the Beasties were big fans.
Didn't they have like something called like the chicken rings or something? It was like stamped chicken rings, like fried. I don't know. I think I remember that for some reason.
Wow.
Like chicken fries from fucking Burger King or whatever it was.
Huh.
But it was just a ring of chicken, like an onion ring, but it was chicken fried.
I don't know. I feel
Either
like
way, it's gross.
Yeah, even at a young age, I feel like I can remember being in the drive-thru and kind of looking at that lit up menu board and being like, I don't know what most of the stuff on here is. Like, you got your signature burgers and fries, and there's beverages and all the other shit. It's like,
just give me a 20-pack.
And then it closes though with "Time to Get Ill," which, I mean, I think it's very safe to say, like, track 1 to 13, not a bad track.
Yeah. Which is very rare for an album.
Yeah. I mean, especially in the days of, back then, everything, at least for me, was on cassette. And at the time, we didn't have, eventually we had the, what would they call it? Like AMSS, the technology where you could, if you pushed fast forward while it was in play mode, it would fast forward to the end of the song and then pop out. We didn't have that in 86. It was, you're working that boombox or whatever. And so if you don't know the album too well or well enough, you can go past, go into the song that you're trying to get to, and you got to rewind and you back into the song before that.
Oh man.
But I don't think, if you sat me down in front of a boombox and put a pair of headphones in and put that album in, I don't think I would, and I had nowhere to be and I don't think I would skip a song. I think it's really just remarkable.
Yeah, I mean, recently I've been like, it's like when I clean my house or whatever, and I'll turn on YouTube, which is a fucking savior. Like, you can get whole albums on YouTube, and I've been going back, and for some reason, like, music's just been kind of out of my life for like recently, like the last 10 years or so. I've just been there's music, but I've also been like, I used to listen to like Grateful Dead.
Dude, I was just about to say, you're back in the truck world. You were out of it for a minute, but a short minute. But I feel, God, what happened to that big giant gray that you had forever? Big gray truck? Something, did it get stolen or in an accident?
One, I think it was Lisa and I went to, is it Gojo's down on Westport?
Yeah.
Used to be there. We went there for something like on a Thanksgiving night before Thanksgiving, and I left my truck there, and somebody smashed the window and tried to steal it,
and really fucked it up, but didn't steal it.
Tore up the steering column, and just enough that fuck it, like
time to move on.
To move on.
You had that truck for a while.
Yeah, it was a good truck.
It was a really good truck. Many nights in shotgun, going to parties or whatever. Always roadies. Had that center console, room for a roadie each.
That was probably like the widest truck.
It is so fucking wide. But I feel like it was that truck. I don't know, but I remember like getting in there for something, and you were like probably moving stuff. Maybe somebody else was with us, and somebody had to get in the back, and you're moving stuff, and there was like a Case Logic or something that was like full of CDs. And I remember flipping through. You probably had Tapao in there, but I think there was a lot of Grateful Dead, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And you're like, "What do you mean? I love Grateful. I listen to Grateful Dead all the time." And I was like, "What?" I mean, I knew you always liked him, but I didn't know that you like actively were listening to them regularly.
That stems from college.
Yeah,
living with Earhart.
Man, I know. So I was trying to. Okay, so did you move to Lawrence first of all, do we need to pause real quick or?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you move to Lawrence in the fall of '93? Did you freshman semester?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who did you live with?
It's just Eric and I.
Really?
A little apartment off 1215 Tennessee.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely was there a couple times.
Oh yeah, I got pictures to prove it.
Yeah. I probably don't want to see those. At least not while the camera's rolling. Were you guys the one that met Todd, the redhead dude? Was he next door to you guys?
He next door.
Now he was cool.
Yeah.
And then I feel like maybe he was less cool after. Did somebody end up living with him? Did Mike live with him or
no?
Nobody ever lived with him.
No, none of our friends.
Was Canning just over there hanging out enough that he knew him?
Probably. Todd Hooper. I think
Hooper?
Todd. Yeah, I'm friends with him on Facebook, but he was next door, and he's probably at least because he used to buy us beer.
Yeah,
because we were obviously underage. And, I think he's probably like maybe almost 10 years older than we are.
Was he a pretty big stoner?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he ripped like 3-foot bong hits like it was nobody's business.
Yeah.
And was he pretty into the Dead or?
Yeah. I mean, we hung out with him, so he was cool. Like,
yeah.
I haven't thought about him in a long time.
But so you and Hart had a place, and did you guys live together for a year?
Mm-hmm.
And then after that year,
moved in with Canning, and remember Dave Bronson?
But
Hillary's friend.
Yeah.
Never moved in with us because we were all fucking.
He wasn't partying like you guys were.
No.
Oh, was he upset? Like visibly upset all the time?
Oh yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, because we would have you remember that house like 1725 Ohio?
Mm-hmm. I mean vaguely.
And it was a 4-bedroom house. It was pretty fucking cool. I was really impressed with it. We lived next to oh my god, what was the name of that band? There's some hard metal band, but we were scared of them because the house was like covered in bushes and slackjaw.
Oh yeah,
that was the name of it.
Oh yeah.
And so Bronson. So we would have these parties, and we'd just be up all night. And he'd wake up the next day, and he's like, "You guys are still awake?" Like I had to study, and it was like middle of the week, and like, yeah, he got tired of it, so he left. And then Glick moved in. And
was that where the infamous fight with Sims happened?
Mm-mm.
No,
that was the other house. That was at
All right. Well, so where did Hart go?
After that, Hart went to Montana.
Oh,
so he's been there since
94, 95?
Shit. Yeah, 95.
Wow. What took him there?
I think he just wanted to get away.
Yeah, but how did he settle? How did he land on that?
I think he wanted to be in like forestry and stuff, and wanted to be a park ranger, I guess. As far as I can remember.
Is there a wheat and a rumpy with my name on it over there?
Yeah.
Can you make that happen?
Yeah. And a rumpy?
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, I'll take a sip out of one of those.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. So yeah.
So you wanted to get into like forestry and stuff?
Yeah, as far as I remember. But I love that house. That was the house that everybody used to come up and just eat mushrooms. And
which one?
The 1725 with Canning and
your second
Hardin.
place. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's gone now, but
like torn down?
Yeah. But that was that. I remember one time. I think it was like Christmas break. You remember we used to all get together on Christmas break. We'd all come back to Kansas City, and
oh yeah.
Like, so we were in Lawrence. So everybody come up to Lawrence, and we just have a huge mushroom party or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think we went to the park. That park right down the street. It was 2 blocks from the house. And
This is Bronson still living there.
Maybe, probably not.
Okay, now it's Glick.
At Christmas, yeah.
What a change up.
Yeah.
To go from.
Fuck. Yeah, we all either somebody ate mushrooms, or everybody had acid, and we were just hanging out and went to this park, and there was all this like stockings hanging from these trees just randomly.
Like Christmas stockings?
Like weird, yeah.
Okay.
Like it was real. I mean, it's one of my random memories, but like we all took stuff off the trees, and like I still had some of this stuff for a long time that were in the stockings, just like little trinkets and stuff. And I don't know where I was going with this, but it's just one of those weird memories I had from like, I mean.
Well, you said you loved that house. So Bronson, did Bronson last a year?
No, I think he was gone by semester.
Okay.
So he probably wasn't there for Christmas, but
and then when that was I'm assuming that was a year lease.
Yeah.
And then when that lease was up, what was next?
It was the house. So Canyon went and lived with Kirkwood in that little crazy fun house that was like the floors were slanted, and like I just got stuck with fucking Gilman and Glick and Jennings and Marty Smith
all living together.
Yeah, it was this huge house, like I think it was 13th in Kentucky.
Okay.
And I lived in the basement.
Oh, I remember that. And
that's the house that Glick and Sims got in the fight.
Yeah. I remember being there, and like everybody was upstairs hanging out, partying or whatever. But then there was a moment where I was like downstairs in your room with you, and I feel like maybe you voiced a sense of unhappiness or displeasure, or like maybe they were like you had a cat and they were like disrespecting.
Jerry.
Was it Jerry?
Yeah. From
PV?
Mm-hmm. No, I got Jerry when I lived in that house.
Okay, but you had a fat orange cat in PV too.
That's Mort.
Mort.
Yeah.
Damn. Fuck. You're gonna have to put like
I should.
Like a wall of with pictures.
Bicky was my first cat. She lived in the apartment, the first apartment.
Okay, but I remember, and we weren't. I don't know. Maybe we had a bat hit or something. We chatted because I mean we were like, I don't. At some point we were writing like we were in touch.
Oh yeah.
And I just remember you like this vibe of, I wish things were a little different, and I don't remember if it had to do with the cat or not respecting your space or what. But I was like, oh,
messed up time. Yeah.
What's that?
It's just a messed up time. I didn't like it in that house at all.
Oh.
I hated it. Fucking hated it.
For a whole year?
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh man, I've talked to the kids on a number of occasions about the feeling of not liking where you live. And if you're I've been in situations where, or maybe it's only one, where, I'm in school full time and I'm working full time. And I mean, you know how it goes. I mean, most of your week is full of working hours, because you're trying to pay stuff off and do stuff to your house and have, also try to squeeze in a little bit of quality of life. But if you're in this loop of like working a ton and feeling like it's really hard to see the progress that you're convinced that you're working towards and probably are working towards, like you can turn around and a chunk of time has gone by and you're like, I fucking hate this. And so if you're away from your home for most hours of the day, for most days of the week, and then you don't really look forward to going home, it sucks.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
And doing it for a year. I mean, I think of situations I was in, I think I was only in it for half a year or a semester, but you did it for a full lease.
Yeah. Well, I got kind of swindled into that,
yeah, you said you got stuck with.
Yeah, because Eric left. And then Canny went to live with Kirkwood, and I'm like, I don't have anybody to live with. Like, and then
Canny and Kirkwood had a place, just the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like that's still like an odd.
Weird.
Yeah.
We're fucking 19, 20 years old.
Yeah, and come on.
Yeah.
Sign right here. But it's. I'm not trying to like be weird or anything, but it's a teeny tiny bit peculiar that they didn't like forge an obvious closeness over the year. It doesn't. I mean, it wouldn't have just. I'm talking like my only reference is our text thread.
Yeah.
It doesn't, and maybe they text privately, but it doesn't seem like they don't dislike each other, but you would think that.
I think it was for a while, but like.
They were close?
Yeah. And then, what was I going to say? Yeah, so like actually by the end
he went to live with Kirkwood, and then you got stuck.
Yeah, then by the end of the lease of the house that I was in with all those guys, like in May, whatever school was over, like they all started moving out, and I was like, where are you guys going? And then all of a sudden, like all these other people were moving in. I'm like, nobody told me anything.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Who? I mean, was everybody's name on the lease like as equal partners? Or?
I don't think mine was.
Okay.
And
that makes it even weirder.
Yeah. And then so I was like, what the hell's going on? And then they're like, well, we just thought you'd stay here during the summer with these people upstairs. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? So I had to call my mom and be like, I got nothing. I don't know where to go. So I had to move back with my mom.
Oh, you moved back into
Tonganoxie.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that at all.
Everybody was gone out of state. I mean, pretty much. It was
right, but I mean, even for somebody that would come back for summers, Thanksgivings, and Christmases, I don't remember. That doesn't ring a bell at all for me.
Yeah, I think it was at that time. Like, I don't know. It was weird.
Did you already have the red truck by then?
Let me see. I had a black truck. I had the black truck after because I had that Hyundai. Remember that white Hyundai? Little stick
left
shift.
over from Stacey Johnson era.
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. I haven't thought of that car in a minute.
I still had that car at that house, but then I moved out and I moved to my mom's, and then I was like, I was just working and I had no expenses.
Now this is starting to sound a little familiar.
And so I got the truck, and then I actually lived there for about a year, and then I went back to Lawrence and lived in this basement apartment, which I don't think anybody really. Kenyon was living with Chad.
Wow.
Remember that?
Were they the house where they got the knock?
Yeah. But it was before that. I was like,
oh wait, no. Didn't he live? He lived with Tag when that happened.
Tag, that's what I'm thinking. Tag and Chad, wasn't it?
Where was that the same house?
Jeez, I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't either.
Something like that, but it was pretty much just Canyon and I and Lawrence for some reason. I don't remember where everybody else went, but
you went back to Tonganoxie for a year, and you went back to Lawrence and were in a basement apartment with who?
Myself, with Jerry and Tabby.
And how was that?
I didn't mind it.
Why did you go back to Lawrence?
I just wanted to get out of my mom's house.
Yeah.
And so I was painting houses, and that's all I did, and just working.
Okay.
And then I think after that lease expired after a year, and I actually moved back with my mom.
No shit.
For maybe 6 months, and I'm like, yeah, I'm out. And so
and Jesse's obviously in the picture of if we're talking Tonganoxie.
Yeah.
And have things always been cool with you guys?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was never a honeymoon period where you're like, I don't know about this guy. He was always just kind of cool on your radar.
Yeah, I mean, he's been with my mom since I was probably senior in high school.
Wow. So you back to Lawrence, and then back there for 6 months, and then where?
And then I moved into this place off by Rosedale Park.
Okay.
It's like this. I have no idea why I moved to this place, but I was probably the only white guy, and it was. So
you fit in really well.
Yeah, and there was.
You had your laceless Adidas and your gold chain and your.
Yeah. So this apartment was all right. I mean, I had Jerry and Tabby with me, and then at one point they were leasing the apartment above me was to like these people that are getting out of or like on probation or getting out of jail.
Like a program.
Yeah. And so at one point this guy moved in and he would just blare his music all
this
day,
sounds familiar.
all night. And I complained numerous times. I actually talked to him. I was being cool, and he would turn up his music and just leave his apartment. And like at one point, I was like, it was Christmas night or something, and I swear he had his speakers just laying on the ground, blaring on my apartment. And I think one time I came home from work and I noticed some powder on my couch. Like there's like like I walk in and there's a wall because then the hallway's out over here for the hallway for the whole apartment complex. And then I was like, what is that trail? And then I started following the trail and there's a hole in the wall, like above the couch. And then I noticed a hole over here against the wall going into the bathroom. And then I noticed it went through both sheetrocks of the hallway. What? And I started looking around in the bedroom and then in the shower curtain, there was a hole. And then I kind of moved the shower curtain and then this freaking bullet fell down into the tub. Somebody shot a bullet through my apartment.
Horizontally or from above?
From like there's stairs going up right outside, and like they shot it downish, so it went through the two walls from the outside through the living room, through the walls in the hallway into the shower curtain.
One bullet made all these little trails and piles and holes.
It was like a 22, but so I had actually worked later that day. Otherwise, I would have been in the bathroom, like cleaning up from construction, because I just started working as an operator with
cranes.
Yeah. I was like, what the fuck? So I called the cops and all that shit. And
did a whole lot of good. I'm sure they were like, we got him.
Yeah.
We found him.
It turned out to be the guy upstairs.
But did he have an altercation, or was he like doing something to be a dick to you?
I think it was just showing off to his friends, but my dumbass signed another 6 months in the apartment after that.
This is still Rosedale.
Yeah.
Where'd you go after that? How was that additional 6 months?
That's fine.
No more issues.
Stupid 20-year-old. No more issues.
Okay. After that, where'd you go? No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's the point when Billy and Bean lived in the tower.
Potted plants off the balcony.
Yeah.
I think that's where Buenos Dias was born. Billy's always had a knack for unique nicknames. Yeah. Wow. They had nothing but just mellow vibes, not a lot happening.
No, never.
Never any.
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't like Gilman go hang out with them and they would havoc or just party? I don't remember.
No, I'm sure.
I feel like I've heard stories of like, out all night, close the bar, and then people are back at that place, and there's like stuff going on in a room that other people aren't even aware of, and
it was weird.
So you signed? Are you hanging out with them when you are living through that additional 6 months? You're hanging out over there a lot.
Oh yeah, I played a lot of frisbee golf because I just walk across the street and play.
And fucking frisbee golf has been like just sort of slowly. Like a slow morphine drip, just kind of like landing in my social media feeds, and it's mostly a lot of like hole in ones, you know. Yeah. And you see it, and it's like this, the force with which they drive is like, what are you doing, man? And then in addition to that, like the straightaway is like not that straightaway, and there's once you get like 100 yards there's like lots of trees and branches, and then the shit fucking curves in the basket, like the ones that I see, like you can follow it, and then once it curves, it'll switch to another camera, and there's cling like in the basket, and they don't ever know until they like round the corner and get there. But I'm like, every time I see one of those clips, I'm like, I could so very easily like just overnight develop a frisbee golf.
I love it.
Habit.
I'm going to start playing this summer.
I mean, I would love to play. Remember when we used to play a little bit of regular golf? Mm-hmm. And it was always kind of comforting. Like if we were both like, what's up? Like,
yeah,
we're going to lose 12 balls apiece and they're going to worry about actual scores, but I'm so glad you're here. Like I would love to be there on that level. Not like I want to fucking, but just every once in a while go out and play, because I think they only play like 12 holes or whatever. Like
frisbee golf?
Yeah.
That's 18.
It's 18. Okay. I don't know.
Yeah. Rosedale's the best. There's also a park up north at, it's called Waterworks Park. It's like Northtown. Is it like 60? I think it's Oak Street, but it's like 69 going through downtown.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And it turns into the Burlington.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's straight up that, and then it's right there. It's gorgeous. And that's like,
let's fucking play. It's nice out now.
Yeah. I want to get back into it because I miss it. I miss it a lot. I was really good at it. I played in tournaments and fucking when I lived over there.
What?
I was in clubs and shit.
What?
Yeah.
Like, just because they were, you were aware of them, or because you were good enough to, like...
I just had nothing else to do.
Okay. I feel like that's kind of the overall vibe of Frisbee golf.
Yeah.
Nothing else to do. I kind of like doing this.
Yeah. And I met a lot of people over there, and, like, I would just go over there every night. It's like, you know, like, now when, like, I get off at, like, 3 o'clock, 3:30. You know, I have, like, 4 hours, and I just walk over there, and I take, like, beers in my bag and
Sure.
play, and...
Now, what did you have your own set of discs?
Mm-hmm.
And
I still have them all.
And they're still like legit and usable. Like technology hasn't passed them. You don't know about that.
Yeah, should probably get some new ones.
But are there like this is a driving disc and this is a wedge disc and this is a
putter? Yep.
I totally want to do that.
I'll do it.
Like if there's a window from like 9 to 3 on a Sunday, that'd be perfect.
All right.
'Cause I'm kid free and it's anyway.
Yeah. No, I totally do it because that's something I've been really thinking about, like getting back into. Because
I feel like
why not?
I've always known a handful of 2 or 3 dudes for years that you see every so often, or maybe you just see them on social media, but they kind of always are like, they kind of like a guy that'll check into a golf course on Facebook, check into Rosedale or check into that place. And it's all just kind of like very unassuming and kind of peaceful, this weird mix of peaceful and fun. And also it really lends itself to kind of like a stoner vibe. Even if you're not somebody that smokes marijuana, they just, you go out and play that game and
everybody's cool.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I would love to.
If you catch up to some group and they're like, just play through.
Right. We should do that. But so you sign on for an additional 6 months.
Oh yeah.
And then where do you go?
I moved out to. I was like, screw this. I moved out to Fox Run over there, like 75th and Goddard.
That's got to be 2000-ish when I moved back, and you have the red truck.
Yes. Wait, did I have the red truck then? I think so. Yeah. Because it's stick shift. I remember that.
Yeah.
Because I got that after my truck was stolen. Yeah. It got stolen at the place that Billy and Dave lived. The tower got stolen in that parking lot.
Rainbow Towers, right?
Yeah.
Wow. While you were there, it got stolen?
We went out that night.
Yeah.
And then we came back and I noticed my truck was gone and I flipped my shit. I love that truck.
How so? Flipped your shit how?
I think I cried.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So I got the red truck and I moved to the Fox Run. And I think Billy and Dave still lived there, and I actually parked my truck there again, and the tailgate got stolen in the same parking lot.
Wow, that sounds familiar.
Yeah. So I never had a tailgate for that red truck for a long time. I just had a piece of wood. I've been nothing but bad
I got a piece of wood. You into that?
Yeah.
Man, where would you guys go on those during that era? Where were the destinations?
Well, when they lived in that place, we would go down to 39th Street.
Mm-hmm.
You remember
Gilhooly's and shit?
Yeah, and there was another one.
There's a bunch down there.
Place that used to go to all the time for steak night and.
Oh my God! Really?
What was it called?
Steak
it's
night.
Still there.
Frickin' Frack?
Yes.
That's what
it was. Yeah.
I feel like that's one of those places that like Bus got banned from because he was like way too heavily involved in the cocaine trafficking ring of Kansas City. It's just like moved back to town. It's like we're all going to Frickin' Frack. He's like, I'm permanently banned. What? What are you talking about? Well, it's a long story.
Yeah. You remember Harling's?
Yeah. Yeah. With the fucking
stairs.
Yeah. Well,
the back.
The stairs up front, and then the floor always had like soft pockets, and then you go out on that like outside, and then it's like fire escape stairs that were like rickety. Yeah.
I don't even know if that place is open.
I don't think so. I think it survived much longer than anybody ever anticipated it would. Like I feel like I went there 3 times, and then the following 17 times that I went there, it was like
there's like 4 people.
The place hasn't been condemned yet. Like, all right, cool, I'll go, whatever. And the people always working or like just disheveled and kind of like half supporting like the local music scene and Guinness. Ours, when we pour our Guinness, like some gnats fall into your beer, but do you still want it? All right, yeah. And then you step out back and you're like, oh my God, like what the fuck? I feel like 4 stories could just peel off of this building and kill like 30 people. So frickin' frack, Harlings.
I think it was the time.
I remember Jervis Jort playing one night at Harlings. You remember that band? That's the kid. Yeah. The youngest McCaffrey. They're playing in Martin City on Saturday or whatever, St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it was a very I think it's I think they're playing I think their parade is Saturday, but I mean they had a really groovy set, and it was packed, and people were really good vibes, nothing to worry about, but there was enough people and enough energy. I was like, I don't know how this building just doesn't disintegrate with all these people in it. Like, this is so alarming. But somehow the code inspectors just keep fucking checking it off the box every year. So where else would you guys go? Because you guys would have some wild nights, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I think, did we go to Westport? Yeah,
I mean, frickin' frack is basically Westport.
Yeah, what's that Buzzard Beach?
The Buzzard Beach is now closed. That's where Dave and Stacy met.
Yeah, I was there that day.
Oh man, how they were just ran both out with different groups of people.
It was like a day trip, during the day for some reason. I don't know what was going on.
Multiple groups of people were at the Buzzard Beach for day drinking. Yeah,
it was like me, Billy Bean, and maybe Seth, and then they were sitting back, and then somehow they started yelling at us. You know how it is back in. All I remember is that giant Price Chopper shopping cart that used to drive around. For some reason, that was in the parking lot. I don't remember what's going on that day, but yeah, I remember that they started talking.
I mean, do you remember what his signature, identifiable? There were years where we could be like, "Give me one," and he'd be like, "All right," and then it evolved to a place where it'd be like, "You gotta give me a second. I gotta warm it up, get the oil circulating," and she loved it for a while, and then it got to a point where she would be like, "No," and it was 86th. But then there was a small period where he could sneak it in, and she would go to the bathroom or something and be like, "Quick, give me one." Oh man, that shit was awesome.
We made Hoopers, and they put the full Pink Floyd
the wall
on the jukebox, just to get everybody out.
Yeah, Chad and Dave, Chad from Hoopers and Dave. No love lost between the two of them.
Was that Poop? Was that his name?
Chad Rock.
I remember Chad. Remember Poop?
Oh, fuck.
I can't remember his real name.
Cubby, not Cubby. Yeah. Same dude that we would see at the bubble hockey tournaments. Not that guy.
It's a different. Everybody called him Poop.
Sounds familiar, but I can't picture who it was.
I before COVID, I saw him at the Midland all the time. He worked at Midland.
Wow.
I'm like, holy shit. He was like, I was like, do I call you Poop? Because I don't know your name.
Is it Mr. Poop now?
Yeah.
Dr. Poop. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah. So that was funny.
Man, those it's weird that we get to talking about junior and senior year. It totally kind of just escaped my memory that Billy moved away,
mm-hmm.
and then he's back. how did he wind up back here in that era? Because then he was gone again. He's kind of done this sort of like you with Lawrence and Tonganoxie, like Billy with Kansas City and Iowa.
Yeah.
And
so I remember before he moved in with Bean, he lived over off of like Roe and with his sister.
Shell or Rosie?
Yeah, I think it was older sister.
Shell.
Yeah, Michelle, yeah. And so like because I was living in Tonganoxie, so I would just drive to Kansas City and like nobody had cell phones or pagers. Like, and so I would just drive like to Bean's house or Billy's house and be like, "Hey, what's up?" And just show up at their house and be like,
unannounced.
"Yeah, let's go out."
Never.
Okay.
No worries at all. Of, like catching somebody mid jerk or whatever's going on. Like, I just sat down to dinner, man. What are you doing? Like, it was totally acceptable back then.
Mm-hmm.
Have
I
you
remember doing that a lot?
Are you aware of Sebastian Maniscalco? He's a stand-up comic. He's like just textbook Italian. He's pretty funny. He's got like 2 or 3 specials on Netflix. But he has a bit where he talks about this very thing: people knocking on the door today,
really,
versus knocking on the door back then. And it was like back then, like somebody knock, the whole family would be like, "Oh my gosh, fuck!" Open it, and mom had a cake, like an Entenmann's cake that don't anybody touch. That's in case we get company. Don't touch that fucking cake. And then the company would show up, and she'd bust out the Entenmann's cake or whatever it was, and then brew some Sanka. And now, like somebody knocked, "Who the fuck? Everybody get down." Like so wildly different now. Like it went from an expected behavior to like a, how dare you?
Yeah.
Without telling me you're gonna come. Just anyway.
I know.
But man, we got. I promised get you out here at 10. We're creeping on 11, so we want to wrap up for the.
Are you really?
For the sake of bedtime and all that. But we went down this rabbit hole of places you used to live to sort of like kind of touch base on the eras of your life where you listened to music and the eras where it kind of went out the window for a reason or another. And where we derailed was the gray truck, and at least in my mind, the gray truck and the Grateful Dead. Mm-hmm. Can you bring us back to having music in your life versus not here in the last 20 years? And
well, let's see. Yeah, I mean, like
Grateful Dead. I know there's some Grateful Dead.
I mean, I have so many tapes in my basement of just like random shit I recorded off like the radio back when I was in college and smoking pot and with hard. We made our own tape
off
covers.
The radio in college.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was
what would your tape covers look like?
What was the guy? It was we cut random shit out of the magazine.
Oh, nice.
Like
I want to see those.
Yeah.
For sure.
What
was the guy? Dr. Demento?
No, it was a
local
weird guy on the radio in Lawrence, I think. He had a weird name, like and he would talk over the songs and be like, "Shut up."
Fuck. Get out of here.
Yeah. I'll have to look it up.
Man, I've had so many. It's sort of like picking up a handful of sand. I've had like it feels like, and it's an exaggeration, but I feel like I've had that many opportunities to actually live in Lawrence, and they've all just kind of fell through. Not for like bad reasons, but man, all of those. I feel like all of those grains of sand. They feel like missed opportunities. Like it's such a cool town. It really,
I love Lawrence.
Whether you're going to school or living with buddies, or maybe you wind up living there because you're playing in a band or whatever's going. Like, I mean, today, I happened to be sitting at my dining room table working on something, and I saw the mailman walk across and put something in my. Whatever. So I went and checked, and it was all this clink, 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 and it was one little piece of junk mail. I was like, what the fuck?
What are you doing?
It sounded like he was wedging like 7 magazines and 4 bills and a couple of flyers, and And oftentimes if I happen to be there when the mail is delivered and it sounds like that, it usually means that they couldn't fit it all. So there's some stuff that has fallen to the chute and some stuff that's sticking out. So I opened the door and there was this big bulge of something on the floor between the front door and the storm door. And I'm like, what the fuck? There's a little paper bag and a card. And the card said the Johnsons. I was like, what is this? So I brought it into the kitchen and I opened up the bag and there's 2 huge tri-colored shamrock cookies. And the card is from the lady that used to live across the street. And it just, miss you guys. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, dude, like, such good people. Like,
yeah.
and it was like, miss you. Man, I miss you too. And she had 2 kids. She has 2 kids. And they were actually, I mean, I'm sure you've met them. They were, all 3 of them, she and her 2 kids were here for the night that I hosted Advent dinner in December.
Yeah, I remember.
Their cards hanging on the door in the dining room. But her boy was pretty, I don't know, he was a sophomore or something when we moved in, and her daughter is a few years younger, but her daughter babysat for years and still, I mean, she just babysat a couple of weeks ago. But, they eventually moved out, and so she's just in this huge house all by herself. So she sold it, and her mom lives in Lawrence. So she moved to Lawrence. She's living in her mom's basement, and then eventually she bought her own place. And when she sold the place, she's like, I'm going to go live with my mom in Lawrence for a little bit, and then I'll eventually buy a house. I don't know where I'll buy. I kind of thought she would probably buy closer to KC since that's where her kids are, but she bought a place in Lawrence. And she's here all the time. I mean, she drops stuff off sometimes. Her daughter is like, oh, yeah, my mom's always here. And her doing that, selling that place and moving to Lawrence and living there, not only in her mom's basement, but now in her own place, is one of, I don't know how many times where I've heard somebody's story and been like, I want to live in Lawrence, And I mean, I was, after freshman year, I was on a lease. I was coming back. I went to Colorado. I had all my, and worked at the Y and lived with Weaver and all that shit, and transferred to KU. I put down a deposit to live with Gilman and Kirkwood and I want to say Sims. I don't remember, but Marty Smith ended up taking my place because I backed out at the last minute. And that's it was Sims because Susie lived there. Remember Susie, McConnell's sister? Yeah, like that. I was that close to living in Lawrence, and I never did, and I never have. But I've always spent a lot of time there. It's I don't know. I just got a fond place in my heart for it.
Oh yeah, I love Lawrence. I want to go back and just get a hotel room and just wander around Lawrence.
Right? For like a week.
Yeah. Just like
if you could get the rate of a hotel room for one night for a week. For whatever reason, somebody just gifts you that and you can just go do your thing.
Or just a weekend and like.
Yeah, man.
That'd be awesome.
See shops and hotels and go up to the field house and out to Clinton Lake and this is where Green Eggs and Ham Jam was, and it evolved into Omega, which evolved into Wakarusa, which moved to Arkansas. I mean, I don't know. There's so many things that are cool about the town. But anyway, the point, again, was you having music in your life.
Yes.
And let's just look at the last 25 years or so. There are times when it's been kind of a presence and times when it hasn't. When it has been, what have you been listening to?
Gosh, I mean, it really has been anything I've actually just loved, like an album. Like it's just random songs on the radio or whatever.
Sure. But I mean, again, I have that memory of at least one vehicle of yours where you had a travel pouch of something that Okay.
It's in my
Okay.
truck.
I mean, I want to see it because I can't picture it, but I know it existed. And I know there was a heavy amount of Grateful Dead in there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any? Are there any Grateful Dead album titles that stand out? Or
I mean, it's all like the studio stuff.
Yeah. I'm not talking live. I'm talking studio.
Gosh, I mean, every time I drive down to Oklahoma or whatever, I pull all my CDs and put them in the front seat and just go through them all. You know, a lot of them's like, you know, like a Shania Twain song that I randomly bought the CD for from like probably a girl or something.
Sure.
Whatever.
Now, in that situation, if you bought the Shania Twain album, do you listen to the whole album? Or do you listen to your favorites and then get it out of there?
Just the favorites, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
What else is there? There's but recently, I mean, with like Pandora and other stuff and
Spotify.
I recently bought some
Apple
earbuds for the first time in my life that I'm like, why have I not been wearing these before? So like when I'm at work, like
now wait, when you say earbuds, you're not talking AirPods.
No, just like
the actual
Target
plugs into your phone or whatever, or is it Bluetooth?
Yeah, they're just Bluetooth.
And you listen to that when you're driving?
No.
Okay.
I listen to it when I'm at work.
Okay.
Been recently because a lot of times I'll be by myself at work, just in the lab doing stuff, so I'll just play like Pandora, Grateful Dead, or today I listened to like Cat Stevens, and it's kind of bringing me back to
what's his fucking name now? Yosef something.
Yeah,
he was in the news like not too long ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I forget. Well, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so I just kind of like I'm trying to bring myself back to the roots of like what I did in college, like because I was like I miss the music, like of just I don't know what happened to me, but I just stopped listening to like stuff that I loved.
Well, you get busy doing other shit, man.
Yeah.
You get into fucking TV shows or books or chicks or you have two jobs and when you're home you sleep or whatever.
I mean that's why I like coming over to your house. You always have music playing. It's like it's great.
Yeah.
You know, fuck, I mean like what was it like? I think it was right before the pandemic, like 2019. I went to a concert with that nurse friend of mine.
Yeah.
I saw Dave Matthews in St. Louis.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, did you go to St. Louis for that?
Yeah, and she just telling me like, you know, Dave Matthews got her through all this shit, and you know, like, I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what music's for. It's like,
yeah. I have a pocket of post college where I'm doing. I mean, near graduation, I was splitting restaurant time with social work time, and then I graduated and thought like I accepted a full-time social work position, but quickly realized that it didn't pay enough for me to pay my bills and buy music and marijuana and drink and all that stuff. So then I went right back into there. Anyway, I ended up dating my college crush, and she lived above this sub shop. Like it's a notorious. It's Stone. I think it's called Stonehouse Subs on like 9th or 10th Street in downtown Durango. And there was just just an apartment, just a little 1-bedroom, not even, it had a bathroom and a kitchen and then like a living or a family room, and she had a futon. And we were whatever, hot and heavy for 6 or 8 months. And I mean, every Friday night, I was over there after work. And we would go out and we'd come back and, whatever we would do, we would be awoken, at like, 4:45 to the sound of clinging pots and sheet trays and the dish machine starting and just because they're showing up to like bake bread and fucking prep and shit for the day. But she was in a real heavy Dave Matthews pocket and a real heavy Lilith Fair pocket. I don't know if you... Okay, so you got like Sarah McLachlan and shit. There's Natalie, somebody Cole. I could look at my tapes in the next room and rattle off a bunch because I taped a bunch of the CD. Anyway, because she just 6-disc changer, always on shuffle.
6-disc.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and always at just like the right volume where it's not overbearingly loud, but it's loud enough that you can like hear the lyrics and the songs. And I mean, through like evening hangout to late night partying to dawn's first light, like music just always playing. And Sean Cole and a bunch of others. But anyway, point being, it's funny how I can almost kind of like we talked about photo albums, oh, this takes me back to this apartment where I blah, 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 or Wade Laird or Tonganoxie or Todd Hooper. I mean, like there's funny little pockets of music where it's like, oh, you know what I mean? But
yeah. I agree.
So many of those pockets, they're all significant in their own ways, and some of them have kind of like, kind of fallen through the grill grates into the ash receptacle where I can't really like put a finger on them anymore.
Yeah.
But I don't really think any of them, and maybe this is just youth and going back to a time before we used to destroy brain cells, but 1986 and the sort of the comet's tail that existed between when License to Ill came out and when it landed in our radar and what it became over time.
Yeah.
Like that, it's tough to top that. I mean, that fucking Beastie Boys, man. It's really, really still weird to me that one of the Beastie Boys is no longer with us.
I know.
And I feel like there's so many people walking around the planet today that they're not even aware of who they were and what they did. Yeah, man.
You have to fight or what?
Fight. Yeah. Why is the monkey brass?
What is Kelsey saying? Yeah.
Oh, man. Music. Well, we should get you out of here because I think it's past both our bedtimes.
Yeah.
And you made a super duper friend effort to come do this with me tonight, and I love you, and I can't thank you enough for it.
It's been fun. Like I
thanks.
was nervous about it.
Well, dude, I'm nervous every time. I get a little more comfortable every time afterwards, and then when the next one is like an hour away, I'm like, fuck. But I really appreciate it, and maybe if you are going along in your travels and make a few notes about some times where music has been in your life that you remember more clearly, or if new pockets evolve and we wind up with enough curiosity to want to do this again, love to have you back.
No, guys, I've been starting to, like I said, I've been listening to a lot of Grateful Dead and Fish and what was I listening to? Like I said, Cat Stevens, but also Pandora does. Like,
oh man! So do you like stuff, or you just let it roll?
I just let it roll.
Man, I for like 2 years when I first got into Pandora, like straight, like dislike, and then one day Sean Smith was over, and I was like, oh man, I've been doing this, and they start feeding me the same shit over. He's like, yeah, that's what happens if you like shit. If you just let it roll, they'll just keep feeding you newer, different, very like all. And I was like, it's the most Sean Smith thing ever, man. Like, fuck. I wish I would have known that. Because I don't really do a lot of Pandora anymore. But after he told me that, a lot of my Pandora time would be at the gym, and so every time I could, if I'm like doing sit-ups or whatever in a song that I love, that it's starting to annoy me, that I've heard it so many times, I'd take my phone out and take away my thumbs up to hope that I could scale back to not liking anything, to where it just gives me new music.
the Cat Stevens radio was playing a lot of Allman Brothers and some other. I'm like, holy fuck, I haven't heard this song in forever.
Allman Brothers, man.
Yeah.
So much good stuff.
Yeah, I forgot. Like, I mean, and then I'd go back to like play another Cat Stevens song. I'm like, fuck yes, this is awesome.
Yeah. He wrote a lot of good stuff too.
I miss me. I really need to get started back into music. But.
I mean, do any of your siblings listen to music?
Yeah. Not as much as like. I don't know. Like think it's more like Christian music.
I was gonna say either Christian or country. Yeah. Feels like it's got to be their wheelhouses. What about Carrie?
I'm not sure.
No,
probably. I don't think they really do a lot of music.
Okay, are you at least with Patrick and Heidi? Are they people that you like? That you talk about things that they're into, and are either of them?
I don't think so.
No, yeah. I mean, not everybody is.
Yeah,
some people are into other shit.
I just want to get back to her because, like you said, like it's like a. There's certain songs that remind me of stuff, and like, like the song "September" by the. That song, "September" by
You said September. I thought November Rain, Guns N' Roses.
Like in September.
Oh God! It's that Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
I love that song in the fall.
Yeah.
If it comes on the radio, I turn it off.
Oh man,
unless it's in the fall, because it reminds me of
the
fall.
Yeah, I love it. All right. Like I said at the top, I don't know why. I feel like it's an accurate memory, but it could be 100% inaccurate. That for a small window of time, maybe it was when we were part of the Jammin' on the One Club, that we would call Matthew T. Graunke, even though it's Matthew E. Thank you, dude. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's get you out of here so you can get to bed.
All right.
Go do your 18-hour shift tomorrow.
All right.
Thanks, brother.
Man.
See ya.
Thank you. Yeah. That was fun.